Okay.
Show on.
Yeah.
It's about to begin. It's not a very good backdrop behind you. Should I hang that picture?
I'm not aware of the backdrop.
Football League draft is just about underway as the commissioner will put the Tennessee Titans on the clock in just a matter of moments. That's Lambeau Field. The green room is packed with players who just heard Bobby McGrath introducing you to several of those who are here. Cam Ward expecting to hear his name first tonight. Began his journey at the incarnate word, and tonight expected to be the first pick in the National Football League draft. A remarkable rise for that player who made the right decision a year ago when he almost came out. There's Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner, a superstar on offense, a superstar on defense, the sort of prospect the National Football League has not seen in decades. Can he become a new superstar? Of course, his teammate, Shedeur Sanders, is not here tonight. We don't know exactly when his name will be called. He has been the most talked about player leading up through this entire draft process. The quarterback at Colorado will hear his name called tonight at all. That certainly will be one of the storylines as he and his legendary father won round one of the NFL draft tonight from Texas. And we bring you inside this draft theater. We are absolutely thrilled once again to bring you this magnificent event. It is our privilege to welcome you to Green Bay. Not quite frozen tundra tonight, although there's an unfrozen football winner here in Green Bay, as he usually does. Up on that stage, right outside, everybody, welcome to Green Bay, and we are thrilled to have you with us. I'm Mike Greenberg, that's Lewis Riddick, that's David McFarland, that's the man who invented the draft. Mel Gunther Jr., Adam Schefter is out with us as well tonight, and you'll hear from him momentarily. And now I'll start with you. We have been talking about this on our podcast, the First Draft Podcast, going all the way back to September. So many questions. What is the one you are most looking forward to hearing the answer to in the next few hours tonight? Or Sanders. He's really talking to the draft. He's my number one quarterback. He was outstanding. He's 2 years at Colorado. We're getting a lot of help. Couldn't run the football, couldn't protect him, but he was accurate. He was being held up from a durability standpoint. He did it from with NFL position around him. I love Shedeur. Perfect fit. Perfect fit is in the World Series at pick number 9. Because it's the 2 and 3, you're getting the best players in the draft. The Dragons, Linus Cleveland, maybe outside the giant. But at 9, the best player on the board, quarterback they need. The Vinci was a number 1 pick overall price. Number 1 pick overall price. So what's the next year? Perfect for the New Orleans Saints. So many edge rushers. Who's going to be the next edge rusher off the board? I think the edge rusher dominates the draft tonight. Is there a relationship between surrounding big play running back? That's the he's personified big play running backs. Saquon Barkley, he's got the conversation around running backs again. Where does Ashton go tonight? Maybe in the top 5. There's been a lot of speculation about that. Well, there is a unique tradition of riding bicycles in the city of Green Bay.
Man, it is packed.
And all those people are paying at least $1,000 or more.
No, those are all the free ones.
Those are free?
Yeah.
Sitting down?
Yeah, those are all the paid ones.
Those are the people that are paying $5,000.
At least.
As the commissioner gets set to come out and welcome everyone here to the draft, and there he is. Roger Patel. It is a tradition unlike any other, and they borrow the phrase from our friends at CBS.
Yeah, everybody boos the commissioner.
Why?
Everybody hates him.
I can see where people are going to get in trouble here. There's too many bikes on the stage.
That's their thing. Mom, I'm trying to do my live stream and watch the draft.
Roger Goodell, go over the proceedings for us here. Here's the commissioner. Okay. Okay, welcome to the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. People said that Green Bay was too small for the population of 107,000. But we have over 125,000 people here and still counting. Obviously, Green Bay may be small, but it's mighty. Thank you all for welcoming us here tonight, and hope you have a great few days.
Let's get this draft started.
Over the next 3 days, we will welcome in the next generation of stars into the NFL and bring hope to every NFL team, and we may have a few surprises for you tonight. But first, let's hear from some of your Packer greats. Please welcome Clay Matthews, Jordy Nelson, Mason Crosby, Ahmad Reed, James Jones, and Packer superfan Little Wayne.
I go on script here real quick, Roger, but I just got off the phone with the president, Donald Trump. He asked me to pass the message along to all 32 NFL franchises. So let me tell you what it reads here, all right? It says, my fellow Americans, the Bears still suck! I'm sorry, Roger, I'm sorry.
Okay, Green Bay. It's time to get the show started. Are you ready? 2025 NFL Draft is now officially open. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
This has to be Cam Ward. This would be quick and easy.
So those are the words we've been waiting since February to hear. The draft is open, the Titans are on the clock, and here are some of the options that they have. Certainly the overwhelming expectation is that they will take Cam Ward, the quarterback out of Miami. But Travis Hunter is available and expected to hear his name called early tonight, the two-way superstar, Abdul Carter, the pass rusher extraordinaire.
I think it's going to be Cam Ward.
Micah Parsons will be that level of good on the next level. The two quarterbacks, Cam Ward, again, we expect him to go number one tonight. Here's who the fight is in. We'll talk about it. Shador Sanders will be here his name called tonight at all. That's one of the big questions we've been discussing for weeks on the talk shows leading up to this night. The man who has almost all of the answers, almost all of the time, is our Adam Schefter. He's with us all evening long. Schefter, what does everyone need to know as we get underway?
Well, thanks, Brady. The Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, and New Orleans Saints all inquired about the availability of Cam Ward to the Titans. All were denied, despite the fact that the New York Giants offered their first round pick this and next year, along with other picks. The Titans were sold on Cam Ward's workout. Their new general manager, Mike Boglianti, came from the Chiefs, where he worked with Patrick Mahomes. And Cam Ward's instincts, the way he sees and feels the field, reminded him and them of Patrick Mahomes. And so now they're poised to make Cam Ward the fourth number one overall pick to work under Titans head coach Brian Callahan, joining Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, and Cam Ward right there, Brady.
All right, Shefty, thank you very much. So, Mel Kiper Jr., you and I have been talking about this on our podcast, the first podcast going back to September. Shador Sanders was your number one quarterback on the board, and he has remained that way throughout. Do you believe the Titans are making the right call tonight, taking Cam Ward number one?
Cam Ward, I get it. Your arm sound is undeniable. I understand that. He can be creative. He can escape. He can say Shador can't do. But Shador gets an offensive line in front of him. The exact same thing I said about Tom Brady. He gave us the 6th round pick. And for Giovanni Carmacci to Mopper, we're in the 3rd round because he's more athletic and more talented physically, athletically. Saw what happened there. When you look at Shador Sanders, everything you want an NFL quarterback to be, he has. Toughness in the pocket, unflappable, final 2 minutes of a game, with a precise, accurate passing, short, intermediate, deep. He does all that. He was sacked a lot, right? So it doesn't go out and take faster. He didn't have any help. The offensive line, blown block after blown block. Ole block after Ole block. He had no chance. He had to try to make plays. They did. Guess what? The place was going to through the roof. Not many balls. Hit the ground. When he comes in his speed, he did it. This notion that he's not that athletic is ridiculous nonsense. He can move. He can roll right, roll left. Third nation, he can get your first down with his legs. His chin, as with the NFL one. So that conditions to the NFL. Buddy pocket, right? Pressure all the time. No running game. Completed rusher over the 2 years of Colorado, averaged 350 yards for the season. That's it. That's Ashton Chicken and Amari Hampton in a game and a half. I mean, kidding me? No running game, no offensive line to put up the numbers he did. He, to me, deserves things. And I understand Cam Ward. You want a 6'3" pounder. You want a guy with a rocket arm. You want a guy with 4'6" speed. It's not Shador Sanders. Cam Ward, stronger around, more talent. I get it. But I'm telling you, Shador Sanders, old school pocket. You can win big in this thing. It's been proven time and time again.
But the 2 things that everyone wants to do, we're talking about quarterback play. The 2 things that everyone wants is great decision making and accuracy going football. I know we're going to talk about these 2 things. That's the 2 things that Shador Sanders has built his career on, and yet we continue to try and knock this young man down for things that really people don't hang their hat on. He has plenty of horsepower in his arm. He has plenty of mobility, as you mentioned. I don't understand it either, but I'll tell you this. I believe the Tennessee Titans aren't making the right pick with Cam Ward because he does all the things that Shador can do, and he does have special horsepower. And look, this comparison right here, the style of play, it is like Patrick Mahomes in terms of creativity and the ability to find time in the pocket and do things that are unconventional that may have you screaming at home when you're watching on the TV screen, but then it turns out to be big plays. Patrick Mahomes has made a living doing this. Yes, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, and Andy Reid has found a way to harness it. But that's what Brian Callahan's going to have to do for Cam Ward. Harness it. Make sure he does it judiciously. Off-platform throw. Just look at this right off the pocket and shake out to the left. And then throw it like you're throwing the first base. It looks like Derek Jeter playing for the New York Yankees. When he puts it on the rope and puts it right where it needs to be. Patrick has done this time and time again. They in the NFL. Now, I understand. Has he done in the NFL? Cam Ward hasn't played a snap. This is just a comparison. And you'd be hard-pressed to tell me that you don't see the same thing that Mike Morganti saw, that we're doing on the screen, and this is why Cam Ward is number one overall pick.
All right, look, so settle the tie here. I've got one vote for Shador, I've got one vote for Cam Ward. If it was 14, who would you select?
Really, for me, it would be Shador Sanders. And you can come in there for so much by the wild play, so much by the off-platform goals for Green. We don't take the simple, we don't like the simple sport. What Shador Sanders does, he plays the football like an old school quarterback spot.
I think this is pick us in for the Titans.
It may not be the most special thing we've seen, but it's the prerequisite one of the things of picking up the ball there. The timing, great decision. Boys, he does all the things that you think quarterbacks do.
All right, so the pick is in, and they're going to be expected to be Cam Ward. No, we've not been officially told that as of yet, and then perhaps the fireworks begin after that. So Cam Ward, a young man who began his career at the University of Incarnate Word, spent 2 seasons there. They went to Washington State. They made the decision that he mattered to last year's draft, changed his mind, and transferred to the U and looked it out. Perhaps about to hear his name called as the first pick of the 2025 National Football League draft. He had Lewis Hayes comparison to Patrick Mahomes. That's what everyone in the NFL was looking for. A young man with that sort of talent, those sorts of traits. The Tennessee Titans need a quarterback badly. The commissioner, I'm told, is making his way to the stage to make the announcement of the first pick in this 2025 National Football League draft. There he is. We see him. Here comes the commissioner. The pick is in. Number 1.
Come on. With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward.
It is Cam Ward. That was going to happen regardless.
As we said, he made the right call a year ago, going back to school, finished fourth in the Heisman voting in his one season at the U. Started 57 games in college, and I'm being told as he makes his way to the stage, we will watch Cam Ward make his way to the stage, but I'm being told we have major breaking news. Adam Schefter, what do we have?
All right, we have the first trade of round 1. The Cleveland Browns have traded out of the second overall pick. They're moving back to number 5 to the Jacksonville Jaguars spot. In return, the Browns will get the number 5 overall pick, a second-round pick, number 36, a fourth-round pick, number 126, and the first-round pick of the Jaguars in 2026. The
Wow.
Jaguars in turn get the number 2 pick, a fourth-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. The Jaguars are on the clock. The youngest general manager in the NFL, James Gladstone, at the age of 34, new regime in Jacksonville, is taking a huge swing at the second pick, and they are targeting Travis Hunter.
All right, that is a remarkable development immediately here. And so as you see Cam Ward having his moment with the commissioner, this is something that we knew would happen. We did not know we would have a trade as early as number 2. Mel, Jacksonville giving up a lot to move up here. Is Travis Hunter, if indeed that is the player, is he worth all that they are apparently?
That's a huge trade.
Jacksonville right now, Dave Cohen, right? They go, he wants offense. So what's come back Trevor Lawrence, right? What can Travis Hunter do? He can bring you juice to an offense. He can be a playmaker. He can be a touchdown maker. They need help in corner at the need area for the Jaguars. He can be strategically worked in a quarterback late in the first half, late in games. He stays excited in the fourth quarter. Travis Hunter, the Jacksonville Jaguars, all that Trevor, all that quarterback spot, 2 for the place of 1. Travis Hunter is, in my opinion, the best player in this draft. I don't think it's, when you think about what he can do, I understand it's tough in the NFL to play both ways. It can be very difficult. He may not be able to do it more than a year or 2, but I think you can always work him in on the other side of the ball. He's going to be offense for Trevor, and then on defense with the quarterback spot in the need area, he'll figure it out. He has not had the benefit in college up until this point of being able to just focus on one position. So how can you be great at one spot when you're playing both ways you're out there all the time? Yeah, what? He's special, and for Jacksonville to love what they did, it tells you they believe he was the number 1 player in this draft. They needed him on both sides of the ball.
Hey, Brady, we're talking about a uniform, something we've never seen before. And for them to give this up, they believe he's that. And for all this talk about can he play both sides of the NFL, think about this. The NFL game is slower. College football is a lot faster, and he did it in college football. So how come he couldn't do it in the NFL when the game is slower? There are fewer plays. We're going to major you on offense, and we'll let you play certain coverages on defense. I think he can do it, and if Jacksonville is indeed taking Travis Hunter, Liam Cohen, an offensive guy, you can best believe he's going to use him on offense to the fullest extent.
Sure, but I don't think you want to play him 120 snaps a game. Okay? I don't think that's what – I think it's going to be something like 60-40, 75-25, something like that in terms of breaking it up. Look, Deion did tell me, Deion Sanders, when he went out to Colorado, that he would start him on the offensive side of the ball when they break out of their initial first team meeting with whatever team he goes to. He needs to learn the nuanced intricacies of that side of the football. He thinks he can step on the field immediately and contribute on defense. You'd be hard-pressed to find anybody up here to say anything different. So, look, Melton put it perfect. You're getting 2 for 1 with this guy. You're getting 2 players in one. Absolutely, you move up to get that kind of player.
Let's make sure everyone can see exactly what it is that the Jaguars have given up here. It's a significant trade. Again, Shefty told us about an hour ago to expect quite a few explosive trades early, and we get it here. Look at all the Jacksonville is giving up here. The 5th pick this year, a 2nd and a 4th, and next year's 1st-round pick. I'm curious to hear from you, Louis Riddick, as a team builder. Andrew Barrett, the general manager of Cleveland, referred to Travis Hunter and compared him to Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani has revolutionized baseball as we know it. How do you feel about the Browns trading away the opportunity to select him here?
Look, they received the hold, though. I mean, look at that on your screen right there. You know, you have 2nd and 4th round picks this year, 1st round picks next year. I mean, that's big time. And he needs to now maximize all those extra picks. But Jacksonville, man, they need to get a special player.
Back to Shefty.
Here's what we got, Brady. These two sides have been working on this trade for 2 weeks, and it changes the shape of this draft and Cleveland's approach to quarterback because the Browns now have 2 second-round picks at the top of this draft, and they also have 2 ones next year in what's expected to be a more quarterback.
The pick is in.
So they can opt for quarterback here tonight or tomorrow, or opt for 2026, but they have options. And the Jacksonville Jaguars instead have what they believe to be the best player in the draft. They're moving up to get that type of player. A huge swing from both teams, but both sides believe it's worth it.
So there's Travis Hunter there awaiting the call that we will expect to be hearing momentarily here from Jacksonville. What are your thoughts on Travis Hunter now, it would appear, headed to Jacksonville after all this time? We assumed he'd be going to Cleveland.
Well, Brady, I love it. I think he's the best weapon in the draft. He's a unicorn, something that we have not seen. You have to maximize this, though. If you're Jacksonville and you're going to take Travis Hunter, you have to maximize him on offense. And this is about helping Trevor Lawrence, who's underachieved so far in Jacksonville. You have to surround the quarterback with weapons. This is the ultimate weapon, the best wide receiver in the draft, maybe the best quarterback also.
The only thing I'll say is, look, defensively, they were hard on defense. Start giving up yards, but play explosive plays. Look, if ever an organization needed a two-way player that fit perfectly right into what their needs are, this is the young man for you.
This is the new National Football League. This is a league where we did not used to see this sort of wheeling and dealing. This is becoming much more commonplace. Young general managers in place, as was pointed out by Adam Schefter moments ago, and one of the youngest and the newest in the NFL making a dramatic move here. The pick is in. The Jaguars expected to make it here any moment here. We'll hear from Roger Goodell on what direction it is they've chosen to go. Huge trade being made immediately, and the commissioner making his way to announce the trade to this crowd and the second pick in this year's draft.
This has to be Travis Hunter.
While we are here tonight to celebrate the 32 young men entering the NFL, I'm honored to take a moment to recognize a player who's made a profound impact on and off the field. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizes one player each year who best represents greatness and compassion both on and off the field and in the community. Tonight, we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
First off, do I want to say thank you to the commissioner. Thank nationwide. And also, too, tonight I want to encourage each player embarking on the NFL journey to identify a passion close to their heart and act upon it. Use your platform to make your community, the league, and this world a better place. As you remember, Walter Payton, strive to leave a positive legacy of your own. Thank you. We have a trade. The Cleveland Browns have traded the second pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It has to be for Trevor Warren. Not Trevor Warren, Travis Hunter.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter.
Yep, he's going to Jacksonville. Is he going to play both positions? I mean, he's obligated. If he wants to, he could.
That's right. They get two for the price of one. Star on both sides of the ball, but making history is nothing new for this Heisman winner. He was widely considered the best player in the country coming out of high school in Georgia. Chose to play for Coach Prime at Jackson State, making him the first five-star recruit ever to play in an HBCU. And then last year at Colorado, he became the first player ever to win the Melenikoff Award.
That's a great pick for Jacksonville. You get a 2-for-1.
And now he is the second pick in the National Football League draft. Now headed to Jacksonville. With Brian Thomas Jr., Quentin Strange, former second-round pick out of Penn State, and Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence seem to really like. Now you got a guy like Travis Hunter on the offensive side of the ball, which he was dynamic in Colorado. Look at the ball skill, how about the football IQ, how about the work ethic, how about scouting players on the field, guys. So when they game, when he's out there playing on both sides, it's about every play. They weren't about big players on the field. That's the underrated part of Travis Hunter, his passion for the game, his knowledge of the game, that football IQ. There are a lot of great players who play successful.
Yeah, he's going to be good in Jacksonville.
Who have fantastic ball skills. I mean, fortunate enough to play in there where a lot of them really speak their name. But this guy right here, I'm telling you this, when I was out there in his pro day, and he was catching the football and running routes, I just one, the ball never touched the ground, and two, he didn't have gloves on, and he couldn't hear the ball hit his hands. Some of the most natural hand-eye coordination in ball tracking.
I want to see him play two ways.
This guy truly is.
Or at least an offensive package.
He's different now. He's different, and that's why Jacksonville went ahead and did what they did. But they said, look, he's too good to pass up. Bell pointed perfectly. I said it just a minute ago. He's 2-for-1. That's what you're getting. And you be forced on utilizing that such.
And when you're getting 2-for-1, I think it's important to talk about the stamina. God, it's hard playing football on one side of football. Look what you know. You and I play deep. It's hard to play defense. And then to go sit on the bench and pop right back up and get back up and play offense. I don't think America understands the stamina that this young man has and how hard he works in the offseason to prepare himself. This is truly something we need. I've been around this game a long time. I've never seen anything like this.
It's a reasonable question to ask how much he can play on both sides of the ball. We understand that he can play one side and dabble on the other, but realistically, as brilliant an athlete as he is, and I sell him short in no regard, he's as good as we've seen in a long time. Can he realistically play full-time on both sides of the ball?
No, you're not going to play him 120 again. You're not going to play him 120, 130 snaps a game for 17 games and expect him to last a decade or longer. It's just not going to happen. You have to be judicious with it. I just said it has to be a 60-40, 75-25, 70-30.
I think you just give him some offensive snaps. Play him often. Play him mostly on defense, and then give him a handful of plays on offense.
Takes us down to the stage. Molly.
Thank you, Grady. Travis, Jacksonville traded up to get you. What's your reaction to how all of that unfolded?
I mean, they didn't talk to me since the combine, so I'm super excited to be able to go back home and be able to play with an organization that thought I was worthy of trading up and getting.
What kind of conversations did you have with the Jack staff about where they see you playing for them?
I mean, they told me they was going to let me go out there and do what I do, so they put me on phone with no coordinator, so I'm going to go out there and do what I can do.
Travis Hunter, a history maker, the first player in the draft era to be announced at both positions, receiver and defensive back. Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Grady,
You mentioned that he's going home, Molly. His hometown in Georgia is about 374 miles from Jacksonville. And we talk about the history that he is making. Well, we are in the shadow of Lambeau Field, the legendary Green Bay Packers.
Don Hudson
is the only player in NFL history to catch 400 passes and make at least 10 interceptions. He did all of that without wearing shoulder pads, by the way. Will Travis Hunter be the first ever to do it with shoulder pads? The last player to play consistency on both sides of the ball was his coach, Deion Sanders. Prime time, 1996 with the Cowboys. He made 8 starts on both offense and on defense. Obviously, one of the great players of all time. We'll see if his protege is able.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Hunter can do in Jacksonville.
Fireworks early here tonight. Jacksonville making the trade.
It's a huge trade. If you're Jacksonville, you're giving up a lot.
So the New York Giants have been waiting all season long to see what direction this team would go. For so long, we expected to go in the direction of quarterback, and then that conversation seemed to exceed.
I think it could be Abdul Carter to the Giants, but I mean, they don't really need edge rusher. But he's still on the board. They could go offensive lineman. But if it's Abdul Carter, he's a once-in-a-generation edge rusher. It is Abdul Carter. That's a lot of edge rushers in New York for the Giants, though. You have Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and then now Abdul Carter. He's going to be – that Giants defense is going to be a problem for the NFC East and the rest of the league. I mean, they're slowly building a pretty good defense. I mean, they get used to him as a linebacker.
You think about what a team in that division in Philadelphia did with that defensive line, and where they dominated Kansas City this year, where they were so stacked with the defensive line. It's no wonder New York sees the same thing with Carter and Burns and Dexter Lawrence and Hill. They can absolutely dominate.
They're going to wreak some havoc on that defensive line.
The elite first step quickly, the ability to bend, the ability to turn the corner. His first step is the best I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, look, Von Miller says it all the time, right? But, you know, he puts some of the best pass rushers of all time down there in Tampa. Look out for the Seaman, right? This guy can get off the rock. And here's the thing that impresses me the most about it. He flat out plays hard. When you talk about competitive character, for 60 minutes, this dude was hunting the quarterback. He asked the Penn State coaches prior to the 24th season to put him at defensive end. He asked for the switch. They were wondering how he was going to handle when they put him in a 6 technique, right? Head up over the tight end. When tackles started coming down on him and double teaming him, whether or not
he's going to be good.
Stand it and come back again and again and again. He continues to get better at it. But I'll tell you this: when it's third down, he's got speed to tower. He's got high side speed. He's got an inside spin. He's got it all. Incredible play.
Best defensive player in the draft.
Number that Micah Parsons did. Will he follow in those footsteps as far as effectiveness in the NFL? Verizon Business takes us down to Molly, who is standing by with the third pick in the draft. Molly.
Thank you, Greedy. Abdul, your dad trained you your entire childhood. What was that moment like after your name was called with your dad and the rest of your family?
It was surreal. I wouldn't be here without him. I'm just blessed. Thankful for my family. Thankful for everybody who let me get to this moment. I can't wait to celebrate this moment with my family.
You grew up in Philly. You grew up an Eagles fan. How are you going to bring the Giants back to dominance in the NFC East?
Yeah, I'm all New York. New York getting everything from me. All the passion that I have, all the love that I have, all the excitement. On third down and we get loud, I'm going to get that big play, make my best pass off, make that big explosive play.
All right, congratulations, Abdul. Great.
Hi, Molly. Thank you. Abdul Carter is the third defensive player selected in the top 3 overall by the Giants in the common draft. The others, Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks. So Travis Hunter is off the board. How about his college teammate, Shedeur Sanders, waiting to hear his name called as round 1 of the NFL draft continues from Green Bay on ESPN.
The 25 NFL Draft is presented by Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL.
I mean, New England on the clock. What could they do with a 4th pick? I mean, offensive tackle. They need offensive line. They can have the pick of the best offensive lineman available. They could go wide receiver, but they just got Stephon Diggs.
By Shopify, let's look at what's happened so far tonight. Top 3 picks of this year's NFL draft. Number 1 went exactly as we expected. Cam Ward, drafted by Tennessee. Number 2, all heck broke immediately. Jacksonville trading up from number 5 to number 2 with the Browns and taking Travis Hunter, the sensational 2-way star out of Colorado. Number 3, the New York Giants. Quarterback needy, but deciding to go after the quarterback Hunter, Abdul Carter, the defensive end. Penn State is dependent on the New England Patriots on the board, and their pick is in. The commissioner is making his way to the stage to announce the Patriots pick here with their new coach, Mike Vrabel, which side of the ball does he look to go on and move around their young quarterback today? Here's the commissioner of the Patriots.
With the 4th pick In the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell.
It is Will Campbell. They needed tackle help. He's probably the best, if not the top 2 tackles in this class. I mean, short arms, but it doesn't seem like it's an issue for him.
He's always been a left tackle. He's a left tackle in LSU, and he'll play left tackle in the NFL. I know there are concerns. About the arm.
You got to protect Drake May, so that's a great pick by New England.
You're talking about a guy who's a natural bender, elite athleticism. He has the balance to recover. If you beat him on the outside, he will turn and come back on the inside. His recovery is some of the best that you'll see at the left tackle position. Footwork is tremendous. Has the ability to mirror and stay in front of defenders. And from a power standpoint, has the power to stop and anchor all the speed rush. But I think what New England needs to know what they're getting. They're getting an alpha in the room, a leader. If you're Mike Vrabel, you're coming in there and you're bringing your character, your culture in there, Will Campbell will instill that. He will be an alpha in the offensive line role, and that's exactly what New England needs.
Mel is he the best offensive lineman in this draft? There were quite a few tackles we'll hear tonight.
Armand Membo on Missouri, they right tackle. They love that tackle. Remember last year, Jason Blakely, that right tackle, did the left tackle and struggled. Now he's stacking right tackle. That's not automatic. So they want that blind side protector. They had to have it for Drake May. Here's the franchise. Will Campbell, the arm length, it's an outlier. The outliers can be great. There's no question. Will Campbell's run blocking is phenomenal. Pass protective is great. Now he will get the ball out. He'll protect a little bit as well.
But you need to protect your franchise quarterback, which is Drake May.
The Giants, right? The Giants have an uphill starter. They have a quarterback room right now. So Wilson, Winston, and DeVito.
So Cleveland at 5. They could go QB.
What do they do with quarterback moving forward? There's Shador maybe dropping where he goes. What do you want to do? They are a quarterback leading team. But you got Ashton Jenkins sitting there, right? They're looking for a defensive end opposite Miles Garrett. They wanted wide receiver as well. And they don't
Maybe this is McMillan.
So we have New Orleans sitting there at 9. I said, oh, that's the perfect game because it's the Dome Stadium. Atlanta, North Carolina, San Jose. We have teams now. But how are they going to maneuver now for quarterbacks? A straight team, quarterback beating. How do they attack?
I'll tell you what, I don't know what they're going to do, but I can tell you what right now Mike Vrabel's doing. He's walking around in that track room shaking the hands. So tell you this, they have gone to work here this offseason trying to make sure Drake May is taken care of. They get working Moses and looking at like that. Garrett Prater want to play center now. And now you got Will Campbell. Who, on that highlight right there, we didn't mention some of the things that he was doing on that highlight. But, we talk about his arm like being sub 33, but he's got hands on cinder blocks. And when you're talking, he uses those hands as well as anybody who was grabbed. But I think we thought that New England is addressing all the things in all season we said they need to address. Will Campbell will be a decades-long left tackle football for them. This is a no-brainer pick for us.
It was the expected pick. So the players that have been drafted thus far, those of you who have followed the process over the last few months, they've been the players that we were expecting to hear. Obviously, the huge shocker was Jacksonville trading up to number 2, and so the Browns are now on the clock and will make the next selection having traded back at number 5. In the meantime, Verizon Business brings us back down to the stage, and Molly is there with Will Campbell. Molly.
Well, you're just the second ever LSU O-lineman to be picked in the first round. I can see that you're emotional here. How meaningful is it for you to represent this program in the state of Louisiana?
It's everything. They did so much to me. My friends, a community that I represent them the right way. I'll never be able to repay them for what they did for me.
I know you spent a lot of time with Patriots staff and head coach Mike Vrabel. What do you like about the culture that he's building there in New England?
That one day speaks for itself. Coach Vrabel is a guy who I want to play for. He's a football guy with no BS. And I've loved everything that everybody in that building about since the first time I stepped in there. So it's a complete honor to be able to have this happen right now.
One thing's for sure, quarterback Drake May has to be happy about this selection. Congratulations, man.
New England drafted a franchise left tackle. They brought in a right tackle, trying to protect Drake May.
teammates will appreciate this now. The Patriots have drafted a top 10 offensive lineman only once. In the common draft era, it was John Hanna, who was 4th overall in 1973, and may very well be the greatest guard to ever play.
No doubt about it. And opened it up as he was walking in to make up what he can be. I have that back spot. One of the more critical picks so far in the draft. Greg May is going to have to be that franchise quarterback.
We're at number 5 again. This is the Cleveland Browns that traded back. Originally had the second pick, moved back here to 5.
This could be a spot for Shedeur Sanders. I'm not 100%. They could go Ashton Jeanty. They wanted the defensive tackle. You got Mason Graham next to Myles Garrett. That's some good. That's a couple of good defensive linemen if you're Cleveland.
When he brought into Ann Arbor, and now Graham lived up to the hype. Everybody said Graham was dropping. And everybody even Waller Nolan would maybe go ahead of the defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. Mason Graham, third on my big board.
I think he's the best interior defensive lineman in this class.
See that in terms of leverage. Full man into the NFL, the versatility, the violent active hand, great reactability, diagnostic ability. Stats were not off the chart. But if you watch them, it was disruptive. It made an impact.
Cleveland needed help in that defensive line, and Mason Graham's going to definitely help him.
When you play that position really inside, you better have a couple of things. You better have a quick first step. You better use your hands well. You better have great balance. He has all 3 of those things. He can make tackles from tackle to tackle, even outside the tackle. I love his motor. I love his disruptiveness and his ability to use his hands. You have to have strong hands to control the center, to control the guard, to get those guys off. People think that nose tackles and free safeties can't make plays. He is a disruptor and playmaker. Here's the thing I want to see. Can he continue to get better as a pass rush? Can his pass rush arsenal continue to get better? Because right now, it's not up to par with what we've seen in the likes of Brady Jarrett or Aaron Donald. Those impact on Chris Jones, those impact free techniques. He's got to get better as a pass rush.
That's one of the things that I still get from evaluating from Rushmore. There's no question he's a great player. He's on the people in Michigan. They love him. They love all the things that coaches talk about. Essentially, it's motor. They love him when he's on the move. Yes, when you're running games and stunts, and he's the looper. And he's a guy who can kind of like get on some edges, get some angles. So he'll be working with one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, Myles Garrett. But can he produce rushing the best?
Let's go to the stage. Verizon Business and Molly McGrath. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you, Jamie. Mason, you are a tone setter for Michigan's defense. What kind of attitude and toughness are you bringing to Cleveland?
I mean, he's fierce competitor, and I want to come in there and win, get to the top and then, win a Super Bowl. So that's my one mission coming in, and that's what I'm going to do.
A Michigan man is going to the state of Ohio.
He did go to Cleveland, though. I don't see him win a Super Bowl anytime soon.
That's exactly right. Heading into what would have been considered enemy territory previously, but now the new favorite son of the Cleveland Browns, Mason Graham, outstanding player. So now the Vegas Raiders are on the clock, and what a fascinating decision they have ahead of them here.
Ashton Jeanty just fell to him.
Shedeur Sanders here. He has a long history with Tom Brady. That conversation has pretty much died away completely. That was part of the early discussion. That's not what we're expecting. At least here they have Pete Carroll. You see him there in the draft room as the Raiders make their decision at number 7.
We got Geno Smith now, right? Pete Carroll tied together. He made Geno great, right? An outstanding quarterback in this league. He still has probably 3 years left. He can play at a very solid level. So Geno Smith to help him out. What does Pete Carroll want to do? Run the football. He hasn't watched on that. They drafted Rashad Penny. Didn't work out. They still took him in round 1. Look at a guy like Ashton Jeanty, where he can meet this football team. I was 4th overall on the big board. My philosophy is not my ranking. On value, on ability, he's the 4th best player in this draft. He deserves to be a pick this high based on that. I think the Raiders would look at running back Ashton Jeanty over Carmine Menlo of offensive tackle in the third.
Yeah, look, this is a football team that didn't have a rusher go over 500 yards last year. You just can't have that in the NFL. So you would think than Pete Carroll, considering where he came from and what his philosophy is. He'd be sitting there going, how do we not take the guy?
Yeah. It's a team that has a lot of holes, and although one might think that taking a running back is a bit of a luxury for dealing with as many needs as this team has. We're going to find out right now. I see the commissioner making his way towards the microphone. Here come the Raiders at 6.
With the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Jeanty.
It is Ashton Jeanty.
What's he saying?
They needed a running back desperately.
We'll go over the numbers one more time. What a season he had. 26
Best running back in the class.
29 touchdowns.
He was a beast last season in college in Boise State.
Fascinating life story. His dad was a naval officer, so he played his first year of high school football in Naples, Italy, and was a quarterback. Ultimately wound up at Frisco, Texas, then to Boise for college, and now he is in Las Vegas.
The fact that all around running back. He is a workhorse. He only had one game where he had 30-plus carries in 2023.
Pete just got himself a Marshawn Lynch clone.
That Raider offense, so that contact balance, maybe breaking ability, explosive, right? How about catch the football? Yeah,
That's a great offensive weapon for the Raiders.
Now, 750 career carries, it's a lot, right? Also, he's a little loose with the football. High and tight, right? He's got to learn that. 5 fumbles in 2023, 3 fumbles in 2024. That's 8 fumbles over the last couple of years. Penn State game, we had a fumble loss. We'll have another fumble in that game. But in terms of a guy who can impact the game, running, catching, and guess what? No block.
Yeah, he's going to be good in Vegas with Geno Smith. They don't really have much wide receivers, so I'm assuming they might go with a wide receiver in round 2 or 3. They definitely need a wide receiver at some point, but they also desperately need a running back. And they got a franchise running back in Gentry.
Absorb the first hit and then continue on. He can do that. And then the third thing, he can take it to the house. He does all 3 of those things well. That's why he'll be successful in NFL running back.
That's the really I had the privilege of seeing this young man up close and personal at the Fiesta Bowl this year. And I said, when we were preparing for that game, this is Emmitt Smith. This is Emmitt Smith with home run breakaway speed. The vision and the elusiveness. He's built like a bodybuilder, like a power lifter, but he's got the jump cut ability to get that ball out on the perimeter. And then you see
I mean, he has some speed. He has some serious speed.
Traffic with like that next level vision. He's going to rip off 20, 30, 40-yard runs with it on the regular. Emmitt Smith, he did this on the regular at the NFL level. What was Emmitt's superpower? It was the vision, it was the lower body balance, the ability to see things that other people simply couldn't see. And he didn't have the kind of speed, the kind of breakaway speed that Ashton Jeanty has. And when you talk about contact balance and burst, and the ability to get yardage after initial contact, nobody does it better than this guy. Nobody. And then look at him turn on the jets. It's easy. It's easy, smooth acceleration. And I'm telling you, when you get up on him close, you will think, how does this guy have that kind of stride like to be able to run like that? Emmitt Smith, same way. If you didn't get a good hit on him, if you didn't wrap him up, he was going to the house on you. Now here on this one in particular, he's able to take it the distance. And look, I don't think this is a wild comparison by any means. This is a great player who takes training success.
It's as good a comparison as you could ever possibly ask for Verizon Business. Back to the stage, Molly.
Perfect player.
Ashton, you told me that at 10 years old you knew you were born to play this game. Standing up here now, an NFL running back, top 6 pick. What would you say to your 10-year-old self?
Yeah, just continue to trust in God and your abilities and stay disciplined on your goals and dreams are accomplishable.
Raiders new head coach Pete Carroll wants to build a team around running the football. He used to coach one of your favorites in Marshawn Lynch. How will you bring beast mode to Vegas?
Yeah, I think it's that same energy, that attitude becomes that nobody can tackle them on the football field.
Great. Congratulations. The highest selection ever for a Boise State player.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Molly, the Raiders average
First round pick since Benduesh.
Look at the celebration. Lone Star High School, Texas. Congratulations. You have produced a first round pick in the NFL draft. We'll be right back. But these teams have been very economical with their use of time. The picks have been coming in quickly. The New York Jets pick is in with their new brain trust, their new head coach, Aaron Glenn. A lot of needs for this team. Let's see which direction they go. The seventh pick of the draft is in, and here comes the commissioner to make the announcement.
With the seventh pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Armand Membu,
Ooh.
Missouri, tackle.
Right tackle. He is from just outside Kansas City. Became a starter midway through his freshman year, so he started 30 games at right tackle.
That's a good pick. The Jets needed an offensive line.
He could be a right tackle, not a guard. Now, it's a tough call for the Jets because Kyler Warren would have made a lot of sense. Tight end out of Penn State. But the Armand Membu's plug and play right tackle. They have to feel he will be.
Carolina is on the clock. They said they might trade this pick away. Carolina did say they might trade this pick. Oh, Carolina's pick is in. I'm going to say it's some sort of defensive player. I'm going to say defense. I'm thinking it's the edge out of Georgia. could be a wide receiver, like a McMillan.
Of the fans of the New York Jets to their picks have become the stuff of draft day legend.
The Jets, second round selection, Marion Barber. Johnny Mitchell, tight end, Nebraska.
And the fans are ready to go which way they want to go. Ryan Ray. Mark Sanchez. Quarterback, USC. Dave Dunlap. Zach Wilson. Quarterback, BYU.
I think Carolina goes defense for this pick. That's a really good tackle for the Jets. They need to protect Justin Fields. They need to protect Justin Fields. That's a good pick. So Carolina is now on the clock. The pick's already in. I can kind of see Tyler Warren to Carolina too. Even though we don't really need a tight end since we re-signed Tommy Trimble, we still have JT Sanders. But I can see the Panthers drafting Tyler Warren at 8. I think Taylor Warren, Jalen Walker, maybe McMillan.
Which was the draft trade up early in the trade. The Jacksonville Jaguars moving up to number 2.
See what Carolina does. I'm thinking one of those three would be a good selection. Jalen Walker, McMillan, or Warren.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Teteroa McMillan.
It is McMillan. We need a tall wide receiver. He's what, 6'4", 6'5"? He doesn't watch film. He doesn't watch tape. That could be a problem. But all Bryce needs to do is throw it up there, and McMillan should come down with it. I'm not upset with this pick. I mean, it kind of makes sense why we went McMillan. Dave Canal is the head coach, coached in Seattle with DK Metcalf. And then he also was the offensive coordinator in Tampa with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So we already have our DK Metcalf and Xavier Legette. Now we have our Mike Evans and McMillan because of the 6'4", 6'5" height. I'm not saying he is Mike Evans. I'm just saying height-wise, we have our Mike Evans. So now our wide receivers consist of Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, Jalen Coker, and McMillan. That's not bad. I think we do need to find a replacement for Adam Thielen at some point. Jalen Coker could be that replacement. But I'm okay with this. We needed height at the receiver position, and we got it with McMillan.
A very nice moment there as he placed the lay on the commissioner there. Teteroa McMillan was a very proud winner of the Polynesian Player of the Year awards both in high school and in college. So that's a lovely moment there. By the way, he was a high school teammate of Mason Graham, who was drafted earlier tonight. And our teammate Eddie Bruschi is celebrating as Teteroa McMillan is the first Arizona wide receiver ever selected in the first round of the NFL draft. So an interesting move here by a Carolina team. This was the first thing we've seen that had not been forecast pretty much anywhere that I've gone.
Well, we thought Carolina was going to go defense, but I get the fact that you're trying to help the young quarterback. That seems to be the new thing. Do you fortify the defense and keep the points down, or do you try to evaluate the young quarterback by getting him some weapons? I like the move. Bryce Young came on at the end of last season. We started to see promise. And so if you're Carolina, why not help the young quarterback to see if you can continue this climb that he's made toward the end of last season?
Taking the wide receiver is perhaps not the big surprise. Which receiver was might be a bit of a surprise to some. In the meantime, Verizon Business brings us back to the stage, and Molly is with Teteroa McMillan. Molly.
Teteroa, I know that you're wearing a lei that your grandmother made, and there is a rich history of Hawaiian-born players in the NFL. How special is it to join that brotherhood?
Oh, man, it's a blessing. You know, at the end of the day, the people that came before me are the people that laid the foundation and set the precedents for me to be successful today. So, so at the end of the day, you know, I'm trying to put on for the qualities of culture and, you know, make everybody proud.
You were a big play receiver in college. What kind of impact can you make on this Panthers offense right away?
Man, I'm ready to do whatever it takes. I know I got a quarterback I can trust in, a coaching staff that believes in me, and teammates that are ready to play for me, and I'm ready to play for them. So, I mean, sky's the limit for this organization, man, and I can't wait.
That looks good on you. Congratulations.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, Molly, thank you very much. For New Orleans Saints now on the clock. And as you can see, they are a team that has gone the longest of any in the NFL since drafting a quarterback in the first round. Archie Manning, in fact, is the only quarterback the New Orleans Saints ever selected in the first round. Parenthetically, Troy Aikman is the only first-round quarterback the Dallas Cowboys ever took. Now, you have been forecasting for quite some time Shedeur Sanders in this spot.
It's not the fit. I go back to Drew Brees. I see similarities to Drew. Coming out, arm strength, similar size, right? He was going to go to Miami, didn't he? Got the shoulder, right? He ends up in New Orleans, wins the Super Bowl, right? You think about where we are right now with Shedeur Sanders in this pick. I remember a few years back when the Saints traded up in the first round. Thought it was going to be Lamar Jackson. It was Marcus Davenport. Defense out of Texas, San Antonio. The division, the corner number one pick overall, with Baker and Bryce, in addition to Michael Penix Jr. Love the Saints. I'm taking Shedeur Sanders.
Let's find out if that's what they've done. Here's the division to announce the take.
This could be Shedeur Sanders because Derek Carr is going to be injured or is injured.
2025 NFL Draft. The New Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks Jr. Tackle.
Wow. They went for a tackle. You know, Ryan Ramczyk just retired. That makes sense now. This is the Ryan Ramczyk replacement. I'm okay with it. I mean, if you're a Saints fan, you just got your Ryan Ramczyk replacement at tackle.
And he could not rave about this young man more in terms of his competitiveness, how good of a teammate he is. He's a guy who overcomes adversity. He had dealt with some things as far as having his family. It never distracted him. He was continuously there for his team. As you mentioned, he wasn't 100% healthy, but when he is, this guy is smooth and fluid as water, big, heavy hands. He got a nasty playing personality. He can pass protect. With the very best of them, and the New Orleans Saints needed. They're one of the very worst teams in the NFL in terms of pass block win rate in 2024. You're right, Mel. They better find a quarterback in order to protect, and someone who can help them compete in the South and in the NFC overall. But this guy's a building block. They needed a player like this, and he is a culture builder. Sark could not be happier and more effusive in his praise for Kelvin Banks.
And it kind of goes with how Mickey Loomis built his team. 8 out of the last 10 picks really have been offensive linemen, defensive linemen for Mickey Loomis and the Saints. He understands how to build this team. Yeah, he may need a quarterback, but this is a young man. He's got to play. He's got to finish a little bit more patient blocks. But I love, as Lewis says, a building block for the Saints as they look for that quarterback in the future that they have to get at some point.
In our countdown show, Adam Schefter suggested the Saints may be looking to target a quarterback in the second round. Meanwhile, we have an update on the scheduling release. Laura Rutledge and Colin Wolf join us. Laura.
Ladies and gentlemen, NFL fans everywhere, hold on to your hats because boy, do we have an announcement for you live from the heart of the NFL draft right here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's right, Colleen. The schedule release marks a pivotal moment in the NFL calendar. It sets the stage for a thrilling season. Yeah, this is where we get to geek out over every single game and 5 weeks. Primetime revenge and rematches, those late season divisional dates that end up deciding playoff spots, and who's playing at Lambeau in December? Ooh, we're gonna have to find out. We'll find out soon, okay? How about these cookies? The players who were drafted here tonight, when and where do they make their NFL debuts? We're gonna find that out as well. Let's not forget the expanding lineup of international games as well as Christmas, Thanksgiving Day. There's so many captivating matchups for that. Yeah, because nothing says holiday cheer like watching your team destroy another. So, without further ado, everybody, get it together, mark your calendars, set your alarms. The schedule will be dropped on
May 14th.
There we go. Lock it in. We can't wait. You can tweet it out, tell everybody, and don't miss it. Be sure to check out all the great content from the NFL team sites, the club social channels around the schedule. Be tuned into NFL Network as well as
So there you have it, May 14th, which is a Wednesday, 2025 NFL schedule release show. We will have the full
Chicago's pick is in.
the schedule release will stream on ESPN Plus. You maybe wonder why I'm going so loudly here now, and that is because the Chicago Bears have just been announced as on the clock, and in fact, their pick is already in. There is no rivalry in any American professional sport, and that includes all of them. Quite like the Bears and the Packers, which goes back to the very beginning of the National Football League's history. And so these Packer fans will boo the Bears even more loudly than they boo the commissioner. Here comes Roger Goodell to announce Chicago's selection at 10.
Yesterday, the NFL family lost a true legend. Bears Hall of Famer Steve McMichael. My heart is with the McMichael family during this incredibly difficult time. Misty, please know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. Marco's remarkable contributions to the game and the community will never be forgotten. His legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. 50 years ago, with the fourth pick in the 1975 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears selected one of Stephen Michael's teammates and closest friend, Walter Payton, running back, Jackson State. Walter would go on to rush for nearly 17,000 yards and 110 touchdowns over 13 seasons, all with the Chicago Bears. As you heard earlier, the NFL continues to honor sweetness, not only for his performance and excellence on the field, but also his commitment to give back to his community with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select
Colston Loveland went before Tyler Warren.
Grew up on a farm in Bliss, Idaho, which has a population of 258 people. He caught his first touchdown against Ohio.
Tyler Warren was on the board, and Chicago's like, yeah, you know what? Let's take Loveland. I mean, he's a good tight end, don't get me wrong, but Tyler Warren was still on the board. That was quick for San Fran. Their pick is already in. I'm not saying Colston Loveland's a bad tight end. I'm just saying I'm surprised he went before Tyler Warren.
Essentially, he plays like a big wide receiver. You talk about the matchup problems. Giving a young quarterback another chess piece to work with. This is the ultimate. I think Sean Payton calls him a choker. This is the ultimate choker. Now that Ben Johnson, Chicago Bears now, so they're with. The thing about it is the fact that even though he is such a great athlete, he can off the ball so fast, and he really stretch the middle of the field so quickly. If you go draw personnel right, the two wide receivers, two tight ends, and you don't stop and put a defensive back on the field, this guy will maul the defensive back in the run game. If you don't look at right clock, he goes in because he will block your rear end off. This is Ben Johnson. This is exactly the kind of chess piece he wants, man. Caleb Williams too. He has to be looking at him going, "This is perfect." Also, the third tight end selected by the Bears in the first round since 1960. One of them was Mike Ditka in 1961. The Niners will choose next on ESPN.
Niners pick is in.
Welcome back to Green Bay. The San Francisco 49ers on the clock at number 11. You are looking at a picture of Shedeur Sanders, who is in Texas tonight, waiting to hear his name called. Now, it has been one of the big storylines leading up to this draft that if Shedeur Sanders or any of the quarterbacks lasted beyond the ninth selection of the New Orleans Saints, take a look at the teams who chose here through the teams, if you will, up until the Steelers pick at number 21. Not any obvious expectations.
Yeah, I think Shedeur is going to be falling to at least Pittsburgh. Unless a team trades up to get him.
I checked the thank you very much, and obviously at any point the team could wind up trading up and in, so we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds. In the meantime, our house announcer, Alan Roach, has it announced.
What does the Niners pick?
Please direct your attention to the main stage video screen for a special message from United States Service members stationed at Yokota Air Base in Japan.
Hello from United States Forces Japan. I'm Sergeant Mitchell Johnson. I'm here with service members from the United States Army, Marine Corps, and the Navy. We're proud to announce that this year we're celebrating our 250th anniversary. We're grateful for the opportunity to partner with the NFL Salute to Service and the USO in introducing the San Francisco 49ers 2025 draft pick.
The San Francisco 49ers draft pick. Back to you in Green Bay.
To our men and women who serve in the United States military for your sacrifices to defend our country's freedom. With the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Michael Williams, defensive end, Georgia.
Okay, well, they just lost some edge rushers. That's a good pick.
14 sacks in 3 seasons after starting his very first game as a true freshman and still very young now. He won't turn 21 years old until late June.
Yeah, he had a high grade going into the season. Grady, that he had that ankle injury, a left ankle injury against Clemson, came back on it and played.
Jalen Walker is still falling.
He's still productive. He had 9 tackles for loss. He had 5 sacks. He forced a couple fumbles. He loves the part of an edge rusher in the National Football League. His size, his long arms, 34.5 arms, and huge hands. What he needs to do is get a more repertoire moves going coming after the quarterback off the edge. I thought he played the run great. He has a strong run defender off the edge, but as a pass rusher, I thought a little bit more work. That pass rush specialist, and these teams have what to get the most out of Michael Williams.
He's got the things that you cannot teach, the traits, the height.
Now Dallas's pick is in.
We know he's technically sound playing at Georgia the way Kirby Smart plays defense. The only concern I have is when it comes to using those traits and getting to the passer. I didn't see much of a rush plan. I didn't see any moves besides the speed and power. He's going to have to continue to develop the move because when we get to the National Football League level, just the traits won't win. You have to have more than traits. You need to be able to have the pass rush arsenal. How are you going to beat the offensive tackle and get to the quarterback? John Lynch loves it. He loves defensive line. You're going to pound Nick Bolson, spread 2 more years. But is he going to be able to live up to this feeling that's going to pass rush arsenal? I'm going to see that.
And they need to restop the cover in San Francisco defensive line. This used to be that position. It used to be the heartbeat of that football team. Both lines of scrimmage with that defensive and offensive line.
They need to restock that. Michael has not produced on a consistent basis the way you would think is memorable. Chip Banner themselves out. Mel Metz, the fact that he was injured. This year, he said himself, he played at maybe 60%. So through the year, he's got to tie it all together. Robert Solomon and all he was a coordinator now for San Francisco has to get it out.
Michael Williams, the first player ever out of Georgia to be selected by San Francisco in the first round in the Common Draft era. And so the Dallas Cowboys selection is in. Interesting one to make of their new head coach, Brian. Here comes the commissioner to the stage. The Cowboys at 12.
Draft someone that sucks, Dallas.
With the 12th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama.
Hey, I actually had him on my mock draft. I haven't taken a good. They needed a replacement for Zach Martin, who retired. They actually picked a good player to replace him. Hey, he's excited. Yeah, they needed to replace him.
This is a deep pick. I think he's the best guard in the draft, and it fits what the Cowboys have to do.
Building the trenches is something that Dallas is trying to do, right? I mean, Tyler Booker, he's someone who's still at 6'4" and 321. So I thought when he did get knocked on the people, when he did, he could absolutely move some people. Who might play the right guard? Tyler Smith play the left guard. And you see him here on some of those combo blocks when he's able to get his hands inside and get his legs moving.
Man, Dallas actually picked pick 12.
I did think he got a little top heavy, got out over his toes some. If he was going up against a good three technique, was able to get on his edge and make him move laterally. He got a little top heavy. But look, that's why offensive line coaches are the most important coaches on a football staff, minus the outside of the head coach. And Dallas tries to make sure that they develop this young man, getting consistent with his fundamentals, so they can get it all out of it. And there's more plays like that you see on your screen there.
So Alabama, by the way, now 17 consecutive years that they have had a player selected in round one. 16 had already been the longest streak for any school in draft history. So our colleague Nick Saban, very proud, no doubt about that, in his retirement doing the telecast tonight for us on ABC. So Bama once again for the first-round player, the Dallas Cowboys making their selection.
Miami's on the clock.
12, which leaves the Dolphins on the clock here at number 13, and the Dolphins an interesting team to consider here as a fight in that AFC East.
It could go. This could be where the tight end goes if the Dolphins don't pick Warren, then Indianapolis is going to pick him.
We talked about plenty. Get up all morning long. Let's talk to Verizon Business. Takes us down to the stage and Molly McGrath.
Tyler, a lot of emotion from your family in the green room. You came out onto this stage with a lot of emotion. What's going for you?
I'm just glad to be a Cowboy. This is really a dream come true. It's truly a blessing. I actually trained in Dallas, so I fell in love with the area. The whole process, I was like, man, it would be great to be a Cowboy. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Shout out to God. Trust and believe in God. If you ever go through something, just trust in God. He got you.
Those who know you emphasize your leadership and character. What are the Cowboys getting from you?
They're getting the same thing in Alabama. They're going to get a leader, somebody who loves to work, somebody who loves practice, somebody who loves his teammates, somebody who's going to aim to win multiple championships. I can't wait to further this tradition of success in Dallas. I'm so excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Brother, you were talking about in our meeting this morning, the emotion of moments like this. Look at him and his family. And now, as we continue to watch the celebration of these young men, we also bring you tonight something special from NFL star George Kittle and his friend Red Guardian from Marvel Studios' Firebolt, which will be available only in theaters on May the 2nd.
Are you eating now? Are you still watching your stuff, Bobby?
Yeah.
Dolphins are currently on the clock. We have a dozen kicked in to round one here of the 2025 National Football League draft. Just moments ago, the Dallas Cowboys selected Tyler Booker, if you were just joining us in the Dolphins. The clock, the picks have been made. Picks are becoming relatively quickly tonight. Very few of the teams have taken the full 10 minutes they usually do.
What is Miami going to pick? Defense? I think they have every cornerback's available. It is a defensive lineman.
One of the stars of the national title team 2 years ago, and All-American this past year. Great size, and middle of that D-line over 330 pounds, runs well.
Going from Michigan to Miami. Kenneth Grant. 14, the Colts. This is Tyler Warren, 100%. That's probably the quickest I've ever seen a team put a pick in. This has to be Tyler Warren for Indianapolis. The Dolphins needed a defensive tackle. So that's a great pick for Miami.
If you're thinking about his ceiling, think Dexter Lawrence from the New York Times. That's the type of big man he is that can move. Athletic, can run, can make plays.
Man, he can run for a big guy.
This is a big man that's 330 pounds, and he can run, he can move. He's got to become a better rusher, and I think he has all the tools because he is a twitchy.
He can move.
I need more out of him in the pass per se, but from a rush standpoint, he gets locked down. He's the way Dexter Lawrence did it.
Yeah, the coach said in Michigan, Wayne Martindale, the defensive coordinator, thinks that this kid has tremendous upside. Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator in Miami, they need some people on the inside. Gave up too many yards after contact. Last year's run defense still helps that.
All right, so we're 13 picks into this draft, and as we bring our research producer extraordinaire Evan Kaplan into the conversation, these picks have had a very distinctly different feel cap from the first 13 a year ago.
Yeah, what a difference a year makes, right? Last year, the first 14 picks in the draft were all offensive players. That is the longest streak at any point in the college draft era. So far this year, through 13 picks, 9 offense, 5 defense. That adds up to 14. That's because Travis Hunter went down and on both sides of the ball and only one QB.
I mean, that's what you should do. He needs to play. He wants to play both sides of the ball. This has to be Tyler Warren.
Speculating about them taking a tight end all along, and there was one sitting right there for them. Let's see if that's the direction they go here.
If this is not Tyler Warren, I'll be shocked.
With the 14th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State.
It was inevitable. How did he fall all the way down to 14?
Best tight end in Penn State's rich football history. He won the McNeil Award as the nation's top tight end last year, catching 104 passes now in what proved to be a 16-game season for that line.
He had a lot of receptions going there because Theo Johnson was there. Became a New York Giant. Theo Johnson did. That opened up the opportunity for Tyler Warren to be the focal point.
I'm shocked he slipped all the way down to 14.
Creatively utilizing him in a lot of ways. He was a wildcat quarterback. He was a quarterback, left-handed quarterback, southpaw in high school. Great basketball player in high school. Contested.
He's the best tight end in this draft class, and he fell all the way down to 14. If you're a Colts fan, I mean, you got the best tight end in this draft that can do everything.
When you sit and you talk to this young man, Green, you just kind of go, there's just a flat-out football player. He's a flat-out athlete. He's a 3-sport player in high school. He played baseball. He played basketball. You see some of his basketball highlights. They're ridiculous. They're showing alley-oops and stuff. So he's going up and getting the ball like this over top of people's heads. We got to talk to him a couple times this past year, man, and he is, the top thing, he's so smart. The ways in which they use him, I mean, in Indianapolis, Shane Steichen's going to be like,
Can you hand me the Sour Patch ropes?
He's so smart, has so much mental horsepower, is so versatile. You're right. You've got right
Thanks.
How cool is that for that one right now? Maybe the best player in the position.
This is just the listing of all the different places that he wound up over the course of his college career. By the way, the last time the Colts took a first-round tight end worked out pretty well. It was Dallas Clark, who was an all-pro. And again, the celebrations are on in the hometowns tonight. Mechanicsville, Virginia, pardon me, is where Tyler Warren is from. And as they were celebrating in his home in Glen Allen, they were also celebrating at his high school Congratulations, guys.
Doesn't have buttons, but it's still good.
In the NFL draft. We'll be
Well, that's my
back in
stunning
Green Bay
napkin.
in just a moment.
Well, at least it's yours.
Watching the 2025 NFL Draft. Presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
"14 picks. The Tennessee Titans picked Cam Ward, QB out of Miami. Jacksonville traded up from 5 to 2. Gave up a lot of draft picks and selected Travis Hunter, the cornerback and wide receiver out of Colorado. The Giants drafted Abdul Carter. Now they have Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter. New England drafted Will Campbell off the tackle out of LSU. The Browns, at pick number 5, drafted Mason Graham out of Michigan. Las Vegas Raiders selected Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. The Jets selected Amon Membo, offensive tackle out of Mizzou. The Panthers selected Ted McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona. To get the height, he's, I think, 6'4", 6'5". 6'4", 219. The Saints picked Calvin Banks to replace Ryan Ramczyk, who retired. Chicago picked Colston Loveland ahead of Tyler Warren. San Francisco drafted Michael Williams, edge out of Georgia. The Cowboys selected Tyler Booker to replace Zach Martin, who retired. Miami selected Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle out of Michigan. And pick 14, the Colts drafted Tyler Warren, who just fell straight to him at 14. So now Atlanta's on the clock at pick 15. I mean, I think Atlanta could go Jalen Walker. No, Atlanta's definitely going to go Sanders. They're definitely going to go Zador Sanders. Atlanta's at 15 is picking Sanders out of Colorado, the QB. After drafting Micah.
But not stuff. Maybe the bigger surprise is that Jalen Walker is still on the board. Jalen Walker had.
This is going to be Jalen Walker, I think.
1% chance still to be available here at the 15th selection. The Atlanta Falcons are a team that certainly could use defensive help. Would that be a pick that makes sense here?
Atlanta needs edge rushers. They need edge rush help.
For a moment here, if we can, we talk about quarterback sliding, and these have been some of those that you were talking.
Yeah, that's based on my grades and all everything I was doing then. Who was the surprise? You see Geno Smith all the way to the second round. Jimmy Clausen, second round, right?
I think the Falcons go Jalen Walker, edge, because just like Carolina, even though Carolina chose McMillan, the wide receiver, Carolina, Atlanta, Tampa, pretty much that whole division needs edge rusher help and defensive help. So Carolina went wide receiver. I think Atlanta goes edge. The Saints went offensive tackle. Jalen Walker is still available for Atlanta to pick. I think this is what the Falcons go. I think they go Walker at 15. They don't need a QB. They don't need a running back. The wide receivers, they have a good wide receiver core. They don't need a wide receiver. I could see offensive line for Atlanta. I just think when Jalen Walker is still falling, you don't pass that up. You don't pass an edge rusher like him.
Continuously used stadium in the National Football League. So a special place to hold this extraordinary event. So the Atlanta Falcons, again, a team that has struggled on defense, struggled for pass rush. One of the big teams that has used all of this a lot of time so far to give us all an opportunity to catch up breath. But I'm told that Roger Goodell has the pick in hand and is making his way to the stage now. So the Falcons will announce their selection here. Will be Atlanta, then the Arizona Cardinals on the clock, and after them, then Cincinnati, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Denver rounding out the top 20. Here's the
This has to be Walker.
With the 15th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Walker.
It is Jalen Walker. Just like Panthers, Saints, and Falcons, they needed edge rusher help. I thought Jalen Walker would be gone at pick 8. He was not, and he falls all the way down to 15 to Atlanta. That's a great pick.
He's off the ball linebacker, but the best thing he does is rush in the air. Very similar to a linebacker that plays for the Cowboys named Michael Parsons. His ability to line up in multiple positions and wreak havoc on the quarterback. He can play off the ball, he can play on the ball, but he was absolutely dynamite coming off the air. Just ask the Texas Longhorns, they could not do anything with him. You're going to watch with a tight end, a guard, a tackle, it does not matter. Heavy hand, and at an undersized rusher there to me, he reminds me of James Harrison. I'm not concerned about that he's only 6'1". We saw James Harrison at 6'1", play outside linebacker for the Steelers and dominate. He's coming off the edge, rushing against offensive tackles. I think Jalen Walker can do the exact same thing at the same height. Yeah,
Walker's a freak now, 5'11", 250, or whatever he was.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jalen's interesting because it's not a whole lot of technique involved with him. He just plays so hard, and he's so explosive that you see through his forward with his hand, and he never gives up. Effort sacks are something that they're not effort sacks to him. It's just normal. That's just the way he plays. But we interested to see what Raheem Morris does with him and where he plays with him. He does play all over the place. 2-point, hand down, off the ball, spy guy. I said in my notes, I said, this guy's going to be a hell of a blitzer. I pity any running back who step up in my A-gap.
And Carolina passed on him.
You better have a strong neck. And you better be able to play low because this dude is coming now. And he comes with a lot of fury. I'm looking forward to see what they do with it in order to get the past what they need.
Well, to that point, if at first you don't succeed, just keep trying and trying to get. The Falcons have been trying to fix their pass rush since they beats. This is another effort for Raheem Morris and his team trying to fix this pass rush. Hopefully it works well this time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that Mike Green was still on the board from Marshall, who was fantastic.
Yes.
This is the first time the Falcons have used a top 15 pick on a defensive player since Vic Beasley in 2015. And we'll continue for Green Bay in 30 seconds after this word from
I mean, Arizona could go Mike Green. I think Mike Green goes to the Seahawks at 18. I just think that's the perfect fit for Mike Green is Seattle at 18. If Arizona doesn't pick him here.
Where the Atlanta Falcons have just made Jalen Walker from Georgia the 15th pick in the draft. The Arizona Cardinals are on the clock now. They will select next. And Cincinnati, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Denver will round out the top 20 picks before we get to Pittsburgh at number 21. And that's the next spot where we might expect to see a quarterback. Now, how about Arizona and what we should expect from the Cardinals here at 16?
Well, talking about Calais Campbell going back there, so you look at that defensive tackle, you think about a guy like Janae Barron or Will Johnson, quarterback there, being very versatile. And then that speed up, that can go to that 4 sides on the heels of a heck of a year. He's the go-to guy for the technical ball. Outside, never a little bit no one went ahead of Matthew Gold. Matthew Gold at the middle of the Houston Cougars was outstanding. They had about drops all year on the trade class. This kid comes to play respectable playing their wide receiving spot. So they have some really good options set up here. I think we'll see where they go. Those defense, but when you say play, people there, so he's mentor for young defensive.
See what Arizona does. Will Johnson's still available. Every single corner is still available at pick 16.
This kid left his half very well down there. They need some good off the edge. They need some good on the inside. What they've done left side, John Sweat from free agency. John Sweat from the Philadelphia Eagles want to carry it up in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. They still do want Steve wide receivers.
And they drafted one obviously last year high in the draft, and Marvin Harris Jr. had something of an up and down season in his first year.
See what Arizona picks.
Kyler Murray, so the Cardinals pick is in, and the commissioner is making his way to the stage for the announcement of the Cardinals at 16.
16 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Arizona Cardinals select Walter Nolan.
They did go defensive line. I think that might be a little too soon for Walter Nolan.
Two colleges, first at Texas A&M, then an outstanding season at Ole Miss with 6.5 sacks, where he was a consensus All-American and a finalist for the Outland Trophy.
I think Arizona reached a tiny bit for Nolan. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying I think they reached.
Walter Nolan needs that will benefit him in his career.
And I think the Calais Campbell part is really necessary because Walter Nolan can be as good as he wants to. He can be dominant, Greedy. He has multiple position versatility.
I mean, they're excited, so that's probably the player they wanted.
A guy like this has to get vertical, they can get gaps and get to the quarterback. When you pick a defensive tackle this high, you're expecting impact play, not just tackles for losses. He wants sacks, he wants cause fumble. He's the twitchiest defensive tackle in the draft. He's got that. He can get upfield, he can get around the offensive guards and get to the quarterback. My only problem with it, I didn't see it consistently enough. He was a 5-star. He was the #1 recruit coming out of high school. He's been the guy for a long time. He's worn that burden. So now, as he takes it to the next level,
I just think they reached. I didn't have him as high on my board. He's a good player. Just I think he would have been like in the 20s. So it's pretty close. Got picked at 16. I was thinking 20, 25.
ESPN ranked him the #1 recruit in the country coming out of high school in 2022. And now after an outstanding season at Ole Miss, he's an Arizona Cardinal. The celebration is on with the family, the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow's team on the clock. We'll hear from them after this from Green Bay.
Okay, so Cincinnati's on the clock now. I mean, Shedeur Sanders, he's fine. I mean, Pittsburgh's like the only other option I think Shedeur has. I think the only other option Shedeur Sanders has is Pittsburgh. I mean, all these teams already have QBs in place. If Sanders somehow doesn't get picked by Pittsburgh at 21, I mean, maybe a team trades back in to the first round, like New York or the Browns. They could trade back in, maybe with Minnesota or the Rams. I think the draft's turning out pretty well. So Cincinnati at 17. No corners have been picked yet.
Sam Hubbard, the defensive end, to retire the offseason. There's no talking to trade Henderson about a new contract, but the two sides still have not gotten close to a deal. So it means that the Bengals are expected to look at the spot for more pass rush help.
So could this be a defensive lineman?
They have the three big players to deal with during this offseason, and thus far Henderson is the one they have not. They've taken care of the two wide receivers. So the offense looking good. The defense, major questions.
I think this pick is definitely defense related. I think it's either defense related or it's an offensive lineman.
With the 17th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Jamar Stewart, defensive end, Texas A&M.
They needed a replacement. I knew it was going to be some sort of defensive lineman.
Does he ever look the part? The athleticism off the charts. But no, we've talked about it throughout this draft process. Just 4 4.5 sacks in 3 seasons at College Station. So it's a difference between the traits and the production.
Sam Hubbard retired. Trey Hendrickson hasn't signed a new contract yet. In comes Stewart. I think Mike Green goes to Seattle.
The last 7 games of the year, 3 successive seasons, he didn't report a sack. This against college offensive linemen. Yeah, you want to say, boy, Nathan Hunter? Good Nathan Hunter has 4.5 career sacks. 1.5 hits last year at LSU. He's got 99.5 sacks. He averages 11 sacks a year in the NFL. That's an outlier, right? Well, Shamar Stewart, who we know that LT Peter looks the part, 6'5", 267, 4'5", 940, 160, 10, 34 and 8 arms, and a 40 vertical. Are you kidding me? He should be getting double-digit sacks. Well, what's the problem?
Now, here's the thing I'll tell you. I'd rather drive a Mercedes than a pickup truck because I like to drive fast. At least I know I can go fast in a Mercedes. And it's up to the defensive line coach to get the best out of him. Because you can take this young man with the traits that he has and his speed. He has the potential to be a double-digit sack guy in the National Football League. A lot of disruption, not a lot of production. So the tools are there. Mike Tomlin has the saying, if the guys didn't need coaching, I wouldn't have a job. He needs coaching. He needs to understand his pass rush move and how to finish at the quarterback. That's what the NFL is about. I love this sheet for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I just wonder how this is going to impact Trey Hendrickson and what they do with him.
So they need somebody like Trey Hendrickson around. Show this young man how to go to the best. Like, think of some of the players he's played with. You've got other guys you can sit and watch. But it's not just going to be on their new defensive coordinator, Al Gold. He can't just be the one who's going to teach this young man how to pass well. There's got to be people in the locker room that are going to help him as well. He plays hard as hell. I mean, hard. They move him from a 9 technique outside the tackle. They'll put him over the nose. And he can collapse the pocket, but he just doesn't have a plan.
The rise in business takes us back to the stage. Molly is with Shamar. Molly.
Thanks, Greedy Shamar. Scouts and GMs all rave about your physical gifts. You have a longer wingspan than LeBron James. How are you built to play in this league?
Man, I'm built for it. I'm made for an hard body. I'm made for this. I'm ready.
The Bengals' new defensive coordinator, Al Golden, known for his aggressive style. How can he bring out the best in you?
Hey, man, if I'm going straight line, I'll figure everything out. It's out.
All right, well, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow's job just got a little bit harder in the AFC North. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great.
Molly, thank you very much. Shamar Stewart, again, the magnificent physical talent. The production that hasn't always lined up to it, but a player we did expect to hear his name early tonight. Mike Green still on the board. A lot of pass rushers in this.
I think Mike Green goes to Seattle.
They would fall, and now they are starting to do just that. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock, followed by Tampa and Denver, and we'll be back in 15 seconds after this word from Mike.
Okay, so the pick is in for the Seahawks. I think Seahawks go Mike Green.
For Seattle, after they send away Geno Smith and they sign up Sam Darnold, so it's sort of a new era there with their second-year coach.
They could go Marcus Golden.
Expecting now for the Seattle Seahawks here, picking at number 18. We talked about a lot about the interior of the offensive line, and Tyler Booker is gone, and then other guys that are available. I think we talked about versatility, Vogue, and Lou, and that's where Graves able to go to Dakota State. I know teams in the late first round were hoping he would slide through the cracks, but the versatility to play every position.
I think this is Mike Green, though. That's what I would do if I'm Seattle.
And he can play anywhere on that line, but he could be a full guard at pro level.
Especially if they feel really good about their 2 tackles, those young tackles they taken in the draft, Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas. They feel really good about those tackles. Then I agree with Mel, attacking the interior of the line is the way to go.
Quick notice, we relate the commissioner. There's been one trade so far. The fewest in any first round in the common draft era is 3. We'll see if those start. But here's the commissioner.
With the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Ray Zabel.
Oh, they went offensive line. They needed offensive line help.
North Dakota State, but stayed in parts of the with his brother, and as a result, he won his second FCS championship last year, got invited to the Senior Bowl. He was great there. This, by the way, is the fourth year in the last 5 the Bison have had an offensive lineman selected in the draft.
Danny Lambie will start the first 3 games of Matt Zamard in 2023. Moved to right tackle for the rest of that season. This past year, he's at left tackle for North Dakota State. He's getting the job done again, getting it done there. Started the final 36 games of his career. 41 overall at left tackle, left guard, and right guard. They practice at center at the Senior Bowl in Lewis. The technique and a fiery approach. He's got a defensive mentality. Great tape on, no doubt in Mobile. Impressed a lot of offensive line folks.
No doubt, certainly with his play on the interior, center, and guard. You go back to 23, as you mentioned, and watching there, where you start those games at left guard, he looked like a Pro Bowler. He looked like a guy who's going to be all rookie immediately, and he's going to challenge for a Pro Bowl spot. The arm length does show up in tackle for him. He doesn't have that kind of physical range to deal with some of the pass rushers he would deal with in the NFL. But at guard, he's plug and play.
So he's headed to Seattle. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be next. Congratulations to Greg Zabel and his family. Again, the Bucs are on the clock, and the Broncos head the Steelers. When will we have our next quarterback selected? We'll find out shortly. We're live in Green Bay. We're back in a moment on ESPN.
Oh, it was a Tampa.
With the first selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the San
Oh, no, I
Francisco
didn't miss anything.
49ers select Alex Smith.
Forget the franchise. Aaron Rodgers will be solid. How far he drops is going to be the storyline of the day.
Miami Dolphins select Ronnie Brown, Darnell Williams, NFL role.
Okay, so Tampa's pick is in.
Who's going to be the guy? I
like Aaron Rodgers a lot, and somebody's going to get themselves a heck of a steal.
With the 24th selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Aaron Rodgers.
We're back in Green Bay. Time now for a draft moment brought to you by Ego.
Dolphins?
So what were the possibilities that we would have Shedeur Sanders still on the board available as we arrive at the 19th pick, which is where we are now? Well, as you can see, it was about 50-50. He would be there at 13. The percentages continue to drop, and we were a few picks away from the Steelers at 21. Adam Schefter, what can you tell us?
Well, Brady, we're not going to see Shedeur pick at 19 or 20. The Buccaneers are sticking.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh.
Are sticking at number 20, and that would bring us to the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21. That is the pick that a lot of people have wondered whether the team would take it. He's got this support within the organization. Mike Tomlin is a fan of Shedeur Sanders. Offensive coordinator Mark Schmidt is a fan of Shedeur Sanders. Also, Steelers also need help at defensive tackle, wide receiver, running back, some other positions. And if they don't take them, there's a real possibility that Shedeur Sanders will be back on Friday night.
All right, Chef, being there, you saw Shedeur with his legendary father and longtime coach, Deion Sanders, with his coach all through his life. But the Buccaneers are on the clock right now, and here comes the commissioner.
What does Tampa do at pick 19? Again, corner's an option.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Emeka Egbuka.
Oh, they went Mecca Buka. That's a loaded offense in Tampa. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, Emeka Egbuka. That's a lot of weapons in Tampa. It's a good spot for him, though. But that's a lot of wide receivers. I think Emeka Egbuka becomes wide receiver 3 and McMillan falls to 4. You don't draft a guy in the top 19 to be a 4th wide receiver. You just don't do that. That is true. Chris Godwin dislocated his ankle. Totally forgot about that.
It also makes you wonder if it's Tampa, who's going to rush the passer? Greeny, you said we were thinking defense. Yes. They need an edge rusher. They signed Ozone Franchise on a 1-year deal. They need more shoots coming off the edge of this top close defense.
That whole NFC South needs edge rushers. None of them, I don't think any of them have drafted a single edge rusher. Tampa just drafted Emeka Egbuka. Okay, the Falcons actually selected an edge rusher, Jalen Walker, at 15. The Saints drafted an offensive tackle to replace Ryan Ramczyk, who retired, and Carolina selected a wide receiver. So Carolina and Tampa both went wide receivers and not defense. A little shocking because they both needed edge rush. They both needed defensive help to edge rushers to get to the quarterback. And neither team did that. I don't know. If you're Tampa, yeah, Emeka Egbuka is a good receiver. But now you have 4 receivers And you got Chris Godwin, who would be wide receiver 2 if he's healthy. And then you drafted Jalen McMillan last season. Where does he go in this scenario? I'm assuming he goes down to 4. Ibuke goes up to 3. Possibly wide receiver 2 in the beginning of the season, so Chris Godwin can hear. And then once Chris Godwin comes back from his injury, then Emeka Ibuke drops down to 3. Chris Godwin goes to 2. That's the only logical reason behind it. I'm assuming Chris Godwin is still dealing with that dislocated ankle. What other reason would they draft a wide receiver at pick 19? Maybe they also thought that Denver could get him at pick 20? But that should have mattered. Unless Tampa just really liked Ibuke and didn't want to pass him up. But Pittsburgh at 21 is a Shedeur Sanders destination, I think. I kind of was hoping Emeka Ibuke might last to Washington, but that didn't happen. Denver still has a minute on the clock. Every single good cornerback is still on the board. Maybe Matthew Golden can slip to Washington? Maybe. Will Johnson got injured? Maybe Hampton goes to Denver at pick 20? I'm crossing my fingers that Golden falls to Washington at pick 29.
Moving up from 5 to 2, but that has been the only trade we've had so far in round 1. And I'll mention again, the fewest in any first round in the common draft era was 3, and that goes back to 1971 is the most recent time. So we've generally had a lot more than that. The Broncos pick is in, and here comes the commissioner with a special guest to make the selection.
April is World Wish Month, and the NFL is proud to support the life-changing wishes that Make-A-Wish grants. Yes. One of those wishes will be coming true right now. Sam is a 17-year-old Broncos fan who has bravely battled cancer. His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team. Please join me in cheering on Sam as his wish comes true. Take it.
See what Broncos pick at 20. Hampton?
With the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Barron, DB, Texas.
Ooh, the first defensive back, Barron. First corner off the board.
And Judge Barron, the young man grew up in Austin, much decorated in his final season with the Longhorns. Now, a consensus All-American, won the Jim Thorpe Award as the best defensive back in the country, had 5 interceptions on the season.
Two Texas Longhorns, right? Great to have on. And if you Matthew goes up to talk about the 4-2-9, I got Jay Barron running at 4-3-9. But somebody run 4-4-5 to 4-5 at 5'11", 195 pounds. Plays everywhere in that secondary for Texas. Super smart.
He's a really good corner. So Denver is creating a good defensive. They're going back to that 2016 Denver Broncos. Yeah, Pat Surtain on one side and Jadon Barron on the other side. Great lockdown corners.
Inside and outside, has great instincts, great vision, route development, understanding, and
good tackler too.
Plays strong at the catch point. That's what Vance Jones is going to want out there in Denver, where they play some pretty good defense. Him and Patrick Surtain second, that's a pretty good group of corners right now. We're talking about the Denver Broncos.
And if you start to look at it, he's a faster version of what Brian Branch does for the Detroit Lions. A multiple position player that can play inside, outside, and play in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that's a good fit.
All right, and so now we get to the Steelers at 21, and this is a spot that obviously we have had circled for quite some time. Adam Schefter, what can you tell us?
We're bringing one of the most intriguing spots in the draft. Shador Sanders is still on the board right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers still are waiting an answer from Aaron Rodgers. One person who said they wondered how that combination, Aaron Rodgers and Shador Sanders, could go along if the Steelers went that route. But there are no assurances that Pittsburgh is going to go that route at number 21 when they have other leads as well. This will be an organizational decision. If they take Shador, he has him alone. If they don't, then we have entered into a really intriguing part of the draft where Shador Sanders and Jackson Dart are alive. And interestingly, the belief around the league is that the Saints and the Giants both really like Jackson Dart.
So, Chuck, there's an irony in all of this, Mel, if you keep making the comparisons to Aaron Rodgers and the way that he slid through the draft.
This could be Shador Sanders.
Pittsburgh's decision as they make this pick here at 21. But we're waiting to see if this is the spot. Shador Sanders will finally hear his name.
Steelers have no second-round pick. That went to Seattle for DK Metcalf. So they're sitting here with a pick. We talked about Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon, could be mentored by Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward can't play great forever, right? He's a Hall of Famer. He's a year, but 2 more years, maybe 3. So you're bringing maybe Derek Harmon. How do you feel about Shador at 21? At 5. This organization has not had a playoff game in 9 years. And they losing seasons in a long time, which what's one? They haven't won a playoff game in 9 years. In this division, with Burrow and Lamar, the AFC loaded with great quarterbacks.
I'm thinking Sanders goes to Pittsburgh.
You have no second-round pick. Where's the quarterback coming in? Well, I'm thinking Shador Sanders. I prefer him in New Orleans, and I know what the Saints would take it there. That's their decision. I disagree with it. But if I'm Pittsburgh, Shador Sanders, the pass on him at this stage and take 20.
I don't think you can. You have to pick him.
Told him the pick is in. The commissioner is making his way to the stage. Will this be the moment that we hear the second quarterback's name, or will the drop continue? Here comes Roger Goodell.
If Sanders doesn't get picked by Pittsburgh, I don't think it's a first-round pick.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon.
It is a defensive tackle. Sanders keeps on falling.
You can hear the roar in this crowd that is the surprise of many, and it is at no humble stage. Let's talk about Derek Harmon.
They get the possible Cam Hayward replacement. Harmon and Cam Hayward together is going to be a perfect fit. 2 rush defensive tackles. Sanders is still falling. I mean, there's no other teams in the first round other than possibly a team that trades back into the first round. That's about it.
So no doubt, you talk about Cam Hayward getting a little longer than Keats. This is something that Pittsburgh doesn't have, which is interior pass rush. You mentioned he led all defensive tackles as far as pass rush pressures from the inside. When you look at Keanu Pitt, they took out of Wisconsin. He's played well, but getting to the passer hasn't been his forte. This is an opportunity to fortify the defensive front. Again, pass on the quarterback, fortify the defensive front with T.J. Watt. I like what the Steelers are doing. You just wonder, without Aaron Rodgers, who's going to play quarterback position for them?
They could trade back into the first round and pick Sanders.
One wonders if they know. By the way, the Steelers' last first-round defensive lineman was Cam Hayward, whom they selected 31st in 2011. So there's the celebration of the Steelers draft room. The question is, when will the next quarterback come off the board? Come back and find out. The Chargers are on the clock. We're back in Green.
Wow. Okay. I'm a little shocked at that one. I mean, I get why Pittsburgh got a defensive tackle. The Chargers at pick 22. I actually wouldn't mind if Washington trades back. As of right now, though, Marcus Golden's still available. I mean, Will Johnson is still available. So they could definitely go. I mean, the Chargers at pick 22, both tight ends are off the board. They could go wide receiver. They could go offensive line. If they want to draft corner, they can get a corner. I think the Chargers either draft offensive line or they help their defense.
And where they slid, now the NFL didn't really regard them highly still in college. A long list of names, the quarterback went on to be outstanding in the National Football League. Will Johnson has a history of effective, pushes down. Barring Hampton surprise, Denver didn't take one step for offense. He goes to go a different direction. And Denver took Sinead Barron, the quarterback. All of a sudden, Hampton's been dropped a little bit to running back.
I don't think the Chargers are going to running back because they got Najee Harris. I'm hoping they don't go Gordon.
There isn't any question, however, this has become now the story of the night. Shedeur Sanders, according to our draft day predictor, there was a 96% chance that he would be selected in the first 21 picks entering this draft, 21 being the operative number with the Steelers. So we are now in that zone where we wait to see if any team chooses to trade up from the second round to make the aggressive. We always act like we're in the sixth round of the draft right now. Short hitters haven't been picked. But still where Lamar Jackson wasn't taken. Last time I checked, Paul Rachel came the first 25-year-old tight end at the time in the South Carolina tight end. And then they traded back in the 30s to take Lamar Jackson. Career and packed it up at the end of day one, Simmons for day two, right? There's Lamar Jackson. That this of the pocket pass. Johnny Unitas.
Chargers haven't put in the pick yet.
Joe Montana was the third round. Kurt Warner, undrafted free agent. Takes Matty. They didn't look like Ryan Levo. Always take the number one overall. Matt Ryan, Dick Long went ahead. Matt Ryan, stick up. So far, something for Jack Eddings over Matt Ryan. Posse guy, how'd that work out, right? Drew Brees, second round. Arthur, Miami didn't take him. Goes to New Orleans, right? How'd that work? Bob Purdy, just for a relevant fourth round pick. They're all positional drop back. Lots of passes. I didn't mention the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, sixth round pick. So just think about that. That the NFL didn't like them back with Johnny Unitas. Came out of Louisville. They didn't like them now. Now you're going to get burned 9 out of 10 times by penalties. So I don't know if it's that the NFL doesn't like them. I think the NFL is saying that those quarterbacks, maybe like the Packers, they don't do anything special. So we talked about earlier in the show about people getting wild.
The Chargers have 20 seconds to make a pick.
Maybe they're not valuing that in the first round. But you know what? It does do something special. The first thing that quarterback was through, guys who we respect the most from quarterbacks, that the first thing that they talk about when they're talking about what does it take to play quarterback at a high level in the NFL, they don't say wild throws. They don't say great traits. They say exactly what you said.
Says the pick is in.
Decision making, yes. Accuracy. That's what they say. Shedeur has made great decisions in the pocket, outside the pocket. When he's getting his head knocked off, he's made great decisions. He goes to the whole accuracy. The whole arm strength thing, I mean, come on. Look, how many times? He's a nice passer of the football. It's as simple as that. He just is. What this comes down to, look, I'm going to try to look at this from a team's perspective, right? Every team likes their team. Teams like players, just no matter what prices they want to pay, right? So they figured for him, if we're looking at, we're judging the landscape right here, we don't need to pay top 15 prices, top 20 prices. Heck, we may not even need to pay first round prices. Doesn't mean I agree with it if they need to do it. And why is the most important was, hey, they're taking all the teams that are passing on right now, as Mel just mentioned, are taking a gamble. They're taking a gamble. The team who need a quarterback and who pass on him, he winds up having a Drew Brees type of career, a Tom Brady type of career. He wasn't, which he's totally capable of. You're going to sit back into the TV. There's going to be a lot of resistance on you. There's going to be a lot of case studies going on. Why did people pass on him? Was it because they thought he was cocky? Was it because of his dad? Was it because he was being tracked? All the other nonsense that you hear. So it isn't because of how he plays the game. I agree with you. It's not how he plays the game. Right. We've only had one quarterback selected. We've only had one trade made. If Shedeur Sanders was going to get drafted here, it would have to be a trade because Justin Herbert is going to be the quarterback of the Los Angeles Chargers. So I said that facetiously. Obviously, this isn't going to be the spot. So the Chargers are on the clock here. Then we will have the hometown Green Bay Packers. So no doubt we'll get a jolt from this crowd. You see Jim Harbaugh's team has made its selection. Here's Roger Goodell.
Let's see what they pick.
With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Omarion.
It is Hampton.
North Carolina.
So what is Najee Harris? So is Hampton going to be the backup? Or is Najee Harris going to be the backup? I mean, it's going to be a two-back system.
Chargers and Jim Harbaugh wants to run the football. Obviously, got to stop the run, something they couldn't do last year as well. They want to run the football. Maureen Hampton, 220 plus pounds, 3.46. Talk about a guy at 622 carries his career at the 128.
He's the second best running back in this class.
Left on those tires. I've done that contact and being able to go left to contact. He will do that. Excels at picking up yards and breaking.
He's going to a team that loves running the ball. I mean, John Harbaugh is going to run the ball. Now he has Hampton and Najee Harris. I could see Hampton being the RB1 for the Chargers. He's a 3-down back.
So as the National Football League is now taken to bringing the draft on the road, we will reach that moment that we look forward to every year. The home team is on the clock, and just listen to these fans in Green Bay. The Go Pack Go chants. Hundreds of thousands
Green Bay's on the clock.
as far as the eye can see. These fans so excited. The people of this terrific city have been so excited to host this event. We have all felt it all week long. There's been no question about it. And so with all the energy here, the Green Bay Packers part of that incredibly tough division now on the NFC North. A lot of leaders to reach. Will this be the year that Jordan Love takes that step forward? What do the Packers need to do to make that
It's highly unlikely Green Bay selects wide receiver in the first round. They haven't done so since 2002. So I'm really hoping Marcus Gordon's still available. They could go corner. Do they still have Jaleel Alexander?
He's in that area right now where you start going, the teams that need a corner, a guy like this, a guy who, again, Rick Martindale, who posted him up there, that Michigan said, this guy has hands, has ball skills like Champ Bailey. The guy can snatch the ball, take the ball in the air like that. You think the Pack doesn't need that? This comes down to the mental. Simple as that. Are they comfortable? Do they project forward how long he's going to wind up still playing in the NFL? What's going to be the risk? All of that. That's what's going to come down to Will Johnson. They have nothing to do with how it's going to play.
Especially what they have going with Jair Alexander. To me, this has got to be Mike Green.
So Jair Alexander is still on Green Bay.
All this kid does is get after the quarterback. He learns a sack machine, and he plays hard. Now, it's 247 pounds. So, that go right, a little bit of issue, but as a pass rusher, still get pressure. Maserati was right there with the top guys. Speaking of edge guys, how about James Pierce? Yes, James Pierce is slimed out. James Pierce is a freak now. He is. He paid plus pounds. The dude is flat out plus. But again, it's about trust. It's about how comfortable are you with. But there's no reason James Pierce should be on the board right now. When you watch the step, there's no reason he should be on the board. But you're getting into that area of the draft, Brady, where teams have some questions, right? And now you're sitting there going, hey, there's a guy you two couldn't pass up. But there are some darn good football players still on the board right now. They're playing real good football. And you told me it's about Big Game Christian. That's right. That's right. It's like Big Game Christian. It's the talent that they have based on what you're doing. That's right. Good point. He's talking about his rock. He's talking about Mike Green. Goes almost down with the good football players. Which one do you think you're going to get the big one? I'll tell you what. There's a lot of their build list as far as the person. I'm sure. But there, it's just like, does he have ideal mechanisms? But as far as the team is concerned, we were fortunate enough to have him off the mountain a couple times just for college football. That's the logic we can solve in the earth now. He's a great kid.
Green Bay's taking their time.
UCLA grew, it's like all having an extra with Kentucky Derby coming up for person out of the day. I bet almost had to go to the day show and crush the sweat. I took you all was everywhere making that. And all the day show, when they moved them all ball outside, so those are two UCLA Bruins going to be really good. Late one, early two. So all the speculation here at this desk has been about defense. I've had a lot of Packer fans come up to me this week and say, we never take a wide receiver on a touchdown. Matthew Golden is still on the board now. I've said his name about 5 times already with Matthew Golden to me. He said, well, you have 1 year of production. I thought at Houston, for what they were asking him to do for 2 years, he did a solid job. And then this year, it's supposed to be, I think, it was Matthew Golden. Then Matthew Golden got a 4.29. I don't know what else he needed to do. Yeah, you'd like to see 2 years in Texas. But he only had 1 season, and he did it all, and then he ran great. Matthew Golden here, are you kidding me? The late first round, he's McMillan already went, the Boot already went.
I'm really hoping Golden lasts till Washington. So I'm really hoping he doesn't go here. Because I want Golden in Washington.
And he wound up taking over a role that many people thought was going to be Isaiah Bond. And he said, look, this guy will do it exactly the way you asked him to.
Okay, the pick is in for Green Bay.
Somebody expected him to run that down. If the technical good work ethic, it's going down there.
So that reaction you're hearing as the words "the pick is in" just popped up on the screens here, as you can see on your screen as well. So the Packers fans all in attendance waiting to hear who their team will add in this first round tonight. Been a fascinating first round. Again, we've had only one
corner,
off the board. We've had only one trade.
some sort of defensive member, maybe an offensive lineman. They haven't drafted a wide receiver since 2002 in the first round. Highly unlikely he's going to be a wide receiver because of that.
The Minnesota Vikings will be up next at 24, followed by Houston and then the Rams. So we continue to wait for spots where a quarterback may go, and now we're looking here at the Green Bay Packers set to make their pick. So the pick is in. I told the commission will be making its way to the stage shortly. A Packer team that had some good moments last year, made a playoff run, but played in such a tough division. The Vikings obviously had that great year in the Detroit Lions, despite all their defense.
Corner, linebacker, an edge rusher.
So the Packer fans here dancing and singing and waiting to hear where they're going. So the commission
Maybe Josh Simmons,
so the pick is ready. And here comes
the offensive tackle from Ohio State.
Will be very well received here in Green Bay.
Okay, Green Bay, it's your time. To make this historic pick, please give it up for first team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and Packers President and CEO, Mark Murphy.
Thank you, Roger. How about this atmosphere? Isn't it unbelievable? Roger, thank you and the NFL for bringing the draft here to Green Bay for the best draft in the history of the NFL. Right here. On behalf of the Packers, Packer fans here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and everywhere, because our fans are everywhere, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the NFL Draft at Lambeau Field.
Who do they select?
It is our honor and privilege to host this wonderful event in our community, particularly since we are the only community-owned team in the NFL. Just out of curiosity, how many of you are owners? We also have the best owners in the NFL. And we also want to celebrate the special connection we have with our fans that dates back to the early days of professional football. With the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, for the first time since 2002.
Oh, they picked the wide receiver. Oh, if it's Golden, it's gonna be Marcus Golden. Yep. Great. Wow. Well, he's not going to Washington now. The Packers actually did it. They drafted a wide receiver, first time since 2002 in the first round. And they drafted Marcus Golden, a guy that I wanted Washington to pick. He's a speedster. I'm telling you, Green Bay selected a number one weapon for Jordan Love. Wow. Well, the streak has ended. Well, good job, Green Bay. He's by far the fastest receiver Green Bay Packers have on their roster.
For so many reasons, there is no other team in professional sports quite like the Green Bay Packers, and Mark Murphy did a great job of explaining some of those, and so that was the kind of moment you practically cannot get anywhere else in sports. Matthew Golden is going to address the crowd. Let's hear what he says. Coming right to the microphone, but perhaps not. Well, he'll address Murphy instead.
It's time, baby. I'm going to bring that energy man up to the deal. It's a blessing. Green Bay on 3. Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right, Verizon Business to Molly, who is with
He's gonna be good.
Matthew, that was a warm welcome from your new fan base. What is it like to stand here in front of all these Packers fans?
He's gonna be a good receiver for Jordan Love.
At Texas, you stepped up big when the lights were brightest.
5'11", 191, and he ran a 4.29. Wow. It's kind of why I wanted him in Washington, but that's not going to happen.
4.29, that opened a lot of eyes. 58 catches, 9 touchdowns in his one season at Texas.
A 16th ranked player on my big board. Packers sitting at 23. We've done that this year. 9 games, he averaged 20 plus yards per catch. Brilliant for the Houston Cougars. Over a 2-year period, he had 76 catches, averaged 13 yards a catch, and 13 touchdowns at Texas this year. He was outstanding, and he came up big at critical moments in key games. SEC championship game against Georgia. Really impressive with 8 catches, 162 yards. Quarterfinal playoff game against Arizona State.
Ran a 4.29. Fastest wide receiver at the combine. He has good hands. He's going to be possibly Green Bay's number one weapon for Jordan Love. If he's not wide out number one, he's going to be at least 2, if not 3. He's going to be a top 3 wideout for Green Bay. I think top 2. At the very least, top 2. I think this is the best wideout they've drafted. Okay.
All right, so there's the reaction from the crowd. Versatility is the word that comes to mind. He started 31 games at left guard for the Buckeyes, then kicked out to left tackle.
Well, Minnesota needs to protect with a trade. Oh, the Giants just traded up. This is for Sanders. This is going to be Shedeur Sanders.
Here we go. So this is exactly what we were waiting for, Mel. The Giants getting their man at the top left to a Carter, not taking the quarterback there. If they turn it around and get the quarterback they're looking for here,
Or it could be Jackson Dutt. This is a good range for Jackson Dutt. It's either Dutt or Sanders. It's either going to be Sanders or Jackson Dutt. I think Jackson Dutt might be the pick.
He stands in that pocket and makes big time throws. I agree with you. Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback for me. Friday, OCC, that's a pretty one. Shedeur came through in the clutch. When it matters the most,
Looks like they're celebrating the family of Jackson Dutt.
Short timeout. We're going to come back. The New York Giants are on the clock. Adam Schefter is live in Green Bay on ESPN.
I think this is going to be Jackson Dutt. We're almost to the Commandos pick. Mike Green is still available. I would 100% be okay with Mike Green in Washington. The Ravens might pick him, or they might pick Donovan from Boston College. I think Donovan went to Boston College. This has to be Sanders or Jackson Dart.
Second trade of the night here in round one. The New York Giants have
Let's see which QB the Giants decided to pick.
And Abishek Durasolis, it is to draft a quarterback. Will it be to take that man, Shador Sanders, the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, or that man, Jackson Dart, quarterback?
If Brian Dable likes Jackson Dart, it's probably going to be for Jackson Dart.
On the Shador Sanders bandwagon since the beginning of the season. Again, we are waiting the commissioner to make the announcement right now. The Giants who picked at number 3 in this draft, taking Abdul Carter, the defensive end, out of Penn State.
But they definitely traded up for a
The
QB.
Giants fans definitely hope the night would go. Get the pass rusher early, find a way to get the quarterback that you want a little bit later in round one. It appears that's what they have done. So we are waiting the commissioner on the announcement. Here he comes onto the stage to announce the Giants pick at number 25.
I'm thinking Jackson Dart. That's my guess.
With the 25th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Jackson.
It is Jackson Dart.
Mississippi.
Drafted ahead of Shador Sanders.
Wow. All right. You know the story. Legendary high school career in Utah, threw for 67 touchdowns. As a senior, he went to USC, started 3 games, and transferred to Ole Miss. Started 38 games for Lane Kiffin, threw 72 touchdowns. Finishes the school's all-time leading passer, surpassing Eli Manning. Mel, your reaction?
Well, I'm surprised you went ahead and Shador, not shocked, because Dable wants more mobility. And Jackson Dart can't beat the defense with his leg. His completion percentage every year under Lane Kiffin improved 62%, 65%. Well, when it was 69% this big year. Touchdown, what, 20 to 23, 29 this big.
Another trade.
Touchdown the last 2 years. 1,500 rushing yards the last 3 years at Ole Miss. Now, the concern for me, and the reason
Atlanta.
in the big spot,
Are they getting Sanders? Are they getting Sanders? Jackson Dart throws darts. And he's mobile. Shador's not as mobile as Jackson Dart is.
Let's always go. The quarterback's still in the order or the way they work out in the NFL. So for Shador, I still believe, I'm a fan, well, I'm proving wrong if this, the New Orleans Saints are the perfect fit. Because Pittsburgh,
I think the Saints are a good fit. Or Pittsburgh.
Very, very well respected down in Oxford. He's a great teammate. He's tough as hell. Another team.
That's a good pick. If you're a Giants fan, you got the edge rusher, traded back up into the first round, and selected your franchise QB. And he's the Ole Miss QB drafted by the Giants, followed by Archie Manning and Eli.
Let's find out how Cam from South Antonio. He is covering the Giants for us tonight. Sal.
Well, Grady, it's pretty clear that head coach Brian Dable likes Jackson Dart. Why? Because he has some of the same traits that Josh Allen had in Buffalo. That mobility, the dual threat ability, the big arm to get the ball down the field, the toughness. Those are the traits that Josh Allen showed Brian Dable in Buffalo. That's why Jackson Dart from Ole Miss is here and will be a New York Giant. Grady.
All right, and so now, once again, this is a conversation that is going to be continued. These quarterbacks will be compared to each other for a long time. We know it will happen. Shedeur Sanders will be drafted at some point here, whether it's tonight or tomorrow. The Giants have made this decision, and we will take a look at the history of first-round quarterbacks in New York Giants history. They drafted Phil Simms in 1979 out of Morehead State, won them a Super Bowl. Philip Rivers, we know, was not a Giant. He wound up being traded just an hour or so after the pick was made for Eli Manning. It took Daniel Jones a few years ago.
I mean, Jackson Dart, the Giants liked him. 6'2", 223. I think that's if Brian Dable likes Jackson Dart, that's the QB they decided to go with. Atlanta just traded up, and the pick is in. They're going Sanders. Jokes. And there goes James Pierce. So I don't get Marcus Golden in Washington or James Pierce. Mike Green is still available.
Well, Brady, this is an instant trade. The Falcons get back this first-round pick to take James Pierce and a third-round pick. But in return, the Rams get a second-round pick this year and a first-round pick
Wow.
2026, along with a seventh-round pick this year.
Atlanta gave up a first-round pick next year?
Teams held their initial first-round draft picks coming into the draft. Next year, the Cleveland Browns already have the Jaguars' first-round pick for one trade today, and the Rams now have the Falcons' first-round pick next year.
You traded a first-round pick for next year for edge rusher.
That get moved. As far as James Pierce is concerned, first team all SEC each of the last 2 years now, racking up 17 sacks.
He's crazy. James Pierce, fastest edge rusher at the combine. And he's big. He's fast, athletic, and he's strong. I think Atlanta did the trade. I mean, give up next year's first-round pick for an edge rusher. He has to be good. He has the ability to be good. But does that actually turn out on the field?
Have been in the bottom 2 in sacks 4 of the last 6 years, including
I think he could be really good for Atlanta. Washington's coming up.
From Tennessee, but the big move made just moments ago, Jackson Dart, quarterback Ole Miss, to the New York Giants, who had taken Abdul Carter earlier in the night. So the Giants with a huge night with all the pressure in the world on their coach and general manager, and our reaction will continue in just a moment, live in Green Bay.
So last 10-ish picks, Arizona went Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Mississippi. Cincinnati went Shamir Stewart, edge out of Texas A&M. Seattle Seahawks selected a guard, Gray Zabel, out of North Dakota State. Tampa Bay selected Emeka Buka out of Ohio State. Denver selected Jadon Barron out of Texas. Pittsburgh Steelers selected defensive tackle Derek Harmon to add extra pressure in the inside next to Cam Hayward. I'm assuming Harmon's going to be the eventual replacement for Cam Hayward. The Chargers selected Hampton, running back out of North Carolina, to pair up with Najee Harris, who the Chargers got in free agency. Green Bay got Matthew Golden, first time they drafted a wide receiver in the first round since 2002. Minnesota selected a guard, Donovan Jackson, out of Ohio State. The Giants traded back into the first round and got Jackson Dart, QB out of Mississippi. Atlanta traded back into the first round and gave up next year's first in 2026 for James Pierce Jr., edge out of Tennessee, and the Ravens are on the clock. And the pick is in for the Ravens. I could see them selecting Donovan. I'm thinking Donovan. They could go him.
Receiver in the first round. Been an action-packed last half hour or so here. Had a couple of trades. Giants traded up with the quarterback and Jackson Dart. Falcons traded up.
I think this is going to be Donovan, edge rusher.
Now Congress Baltimore Ravens are on the clock here. In fact, their kick is in very quickly before the commissioner makes a note on our needs.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. Oh, I forgot about the safeties. If Omoruyi is available at Washington at pick 29, that would be awesome. He might not be. Malachi Starks goes to Baltimore. That's a good pick. Pair him up with the Ravens are really doing well on the defensive side of the ball. Washington's on the clock soon. If the Lions don't pick Omoruyi, I'm hoping Washington picks him. Nice catch. The Ravens has some good safeties on the back end. Got Kyle Hamilton and we pair Starks with them. And you got some good corners. It's going to be hard to throw against the Ravens defense. That's a perfect fit for Starks. I don't think the Lions are going to go safety. They could. But I'm really hoping they don't, because Washington, we need a safety. Washington needs a safety. So if the Lions don't pick Amon-Ra, that means Washington has a chance to pick him. And that would be awesome. But the Ravens, they get this, I think, the second best safety in this class.
From the green room out onto the stage and actually lifted the commissioner off his feet, and he's down there on the stage now. Verizon Business brings us down to Molly, who's with Malachi. Molly.
Malachi, I can feel the energy vibrating off of you. That was quite the hug with Commissioner Goodell. How do you describe what's going through you right now?
I'm ready to go. I've been waiting too long. I'm ready to go. I'm ready.
This defense was a force down the stretch last season. What will you bring to that secondary?
Okay, Lions pick is in, and Washington is on the clock.
Everything you just said was illustrated by his behavior in every conceivable way. That was one fired up young man. As the crowd is now starting to boo the Lions, it's been.
There's two guys still on the board that I do not want the Lions to pick. And that's Nick Amon-Ra and Mike Green. I don't know. I mean, the Lions can pick one of those two if Washington can pick the other one. I'm okay if the Lions pick Donovan. There's two players on my mind that I want Washington to pick.
They need to start establishing depth by getting some more players. I mean, Aiden needs some help. He needs a guy. He needs some juice off the edge. I mean, Donovan Ezra is still there. Mike Green from Marshall is still there. You would expect it to be a defensive pick simply because of the fact that they had so many injuries. Yeah, and it really just derailed everything they were trying to get done last year. We'll see what happens.
They're one of two teams that didn't have multiple players with 5 sacks last season. Aiden Hutchinson.
What does the Lions do at pick 28?
So now what direction do we look at as the commissioner makes his way to the stage? I'm going to go with what Lou was saying. I think Carson Schlesinger's another name. We're going to be here at some point in time. You're looking at the half Jack Campbell, but Carson Schlesinger from UCLA. All this kid does is make impactful plays. Lead they tackle. Here's the commish with the selection.
With the 28th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Tylee Williams, defensive tackle.
Give me a safety. Let's go.
All right, so not an edge, a dominant run defender at 334 pounds who also confronts
Man, 330 pounds. You know what? Every single pick, every single player that I would like watching the pick is still on the board. So I'm okay with this. Man, for a guy who weighs 330 pounds, he can move. Okay, he can move.
There are 4 picks remaining in tonight's first round. As of now, they belong to Washington, then Buffalo, then Kansas City, then Philadelphia. Will Shedeur Sanders hear his name called tonight? According to our draft day predictor, there was only a 3% chance he'd be available by the time we got here. He is Mel's 5th rated player on the board. He's still available at 29. We'll be right back.
Okay. Washington is on the clock. There are 3 people. There are 3 players I would like Washington to draft. I would take Mike Green, Donovan, or Nick Amanwariye. One of those 3. Either a safety or an edge rusher. One of those 3 guys, and I'd be happy. I mean, they're still on the board. I'm a huge fan of Nick Amanwariye out of South Carolina. And we need safety help. We lost Jeremy Chin. I could see Mike Green or Donovan. I would like Nick Amanwariye. That's the pick I would like. The pick is in for Washington. I'm hoping for Nick Amanwariye. I mean, we need defensive help. We traded for Laramie Tunsil. We traded for Deebo Samuel. I think if we can bring in a few guys on defense via the draft, it could be good. It should be good. Let's go, Washington. My 3. We did bring in Will Harris, but I think we could get a better safety. Nick Amanwarie. I would be okay with Will Johnson, but the 3 guys that I would be okay with: Mike Green, Nick Amanwarie, Donovan, or Will Johnson. One of those 4 picks. My top selection would be Nick Amanwarie out of South Carolina, the safety. Who do we pick?
The Washington Commanders select Josh Connerly Jr., tackle, Oregon.
Okay.
Interesting pick, so they took the tackle after signing or trading for the tackle. Josh Connerly has been on the radar a long time.
Not really the pick that I was kind of hoping. I thought we would be off the offensive line because we traded for Laremy Tunsil. Yeah, why did we get Mike Green? I thought we need. I still think we need edge rush help. I mean, he's a good blocker, good pass blocker. This is, we just traded for Laremy Tunsil. He's gonna be a left tackle. Maybe he's gonna be a right tackle. I would have gone the safety out of South Carolina. I'm not upset with it though. We need it often. I mean, we could use a right tackle because I want to say Sam Cosme is injured, so he might not be healthy to start this coming season. So he could be a plug and play. I mean, would I have drafted an offensive tackle after trading for Laremy Tunsil? Probably not. But we can put him plug and play at right tackle. I would say this. Use him as a right tackle. Will Johnson there at this point. I think surprised a lot of people. Maxwell Harrison, Brad Gray had a really good junior game, 2024 campaign. So he got hurt this year with his shoulder. That's 5 picks 2 years ago. 6'5", 311. Watch, now Nick Amanwarie is going to fall all the way down to Philadelphia.
He has that same kind of mentality, that same kind of toughness and tech with ball skills, all of it. That's a good player on the board.
Yeah, if you talk about fit, though, all those guys, I get it from a fit standpoint. If the medical checks out, Will Johnson fits better than Sean McDermott defense when they want to have vision of the ball.
And you're talking about, you're talking about a two high type of scheme, coming from
From a total standpoint, ball skills, the good team diagnose, get the ball, and get the big six like he did.
Buffalo's pick is in.
Well, I would say Trey sits going to come down at Ole Miss. I mean, they played a cover four type of scheme. It was big scheme. Yeah, basically, they played down there. So, yeah, I mean, they both make sense.
A team that was mentioned has been so good and yet come up just short in such painful fashion multiple times in the last few years. Last year was supposed to be their dip year. It was here they lost so many of their players on defense, reset their salary cap, still found themselves with an opportunity in the AFC Championship game against Mahomes in Kansas City and just couldn't quite get it done at the finish. So let's see which direction they go. Everyone here is expecting defense to help Josh Allen and that Bills offense take a step towards San Francisco or Santa Clara next year.
It's a different way to close the gap. When you talk about the gap between Mahomes and Josh Allen, is leads you. So how do you close the gap? Get the closest to the defensive side of the ball where they can turn the football over and give Josh Allen one more possession, give him one more practice at the football.
And we can see the commissioner making his way to the podium with a very special visitor to announce the pick.
The NFL is stepping up to have an even greater impact as a wish maker for Make-A-Wish. For the second time tonight, we have the opportunity to grant the wish.
Will Johnson's still available.
To announce the first pick for his favorite team. Tommy. Tommy is a 16-year-old living with a neuromuscular disorder. He's a huge Buffalo Bills fan, and he's here with me to make the announcement for his beloved Bills.
Let's see what Buffalo picks.
Let's go, Buffalo!
With the 30th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Maxwell Harrison. Let's go!
They got Maxwell Harrison. I think I had him slated to pick him in Buffalo as well.
So it starts there. He's here. He's a huge personality. 2-year starter.
Fastest defensive back at the combine.
For touchdowns. When he was healthy in 2023, he was outstanding. 5 interceptions. Led the SEC at a school record with 2 interception returns for touchdowns.
That's a good fit. Buffalo needed corner help. Build that defense back up. Nick Amenwari is going to fall to Kansas City or Philadelphia. Oh, a trade. Ooh. Philadelphia trades up 1 pick from 32 to 31.
He has the speed and athleticism to make up for some of the consistency that he has as far as route recognition and playing it true and playing it clean with consistency. That's what happens. That's why you get down to the 30 when you have the kind of athletic ability he has. But look, Sean McDermott will get it right. They need to really get some cover guys who can make some plays on the ball in the secondary. And this is the kind of kid that you look for down here late for
Is the first defensive back in school history to go in round 1. And we talk about how badly the Bills need him. They allowed opposing quarterbacks to complete 41% of their passes, throwing 20 yards downfield or more last year. That was 24th in the NFL. Now let's take a look at Matt Caston. Yeah, like I said, Brady, you talk about the ability to recover and to see the size. We've got 180, 183 pounds. That's the concern moving forward, that frame. But you watch him here. Look, it's a Giant. Joe Phillips came out.
I think he should be fine.
Did a really good job as a rookie with the New York Giants. Anticipate first on the
football, he'll come up with the interception. He had 5 interceptions 2 years ago. He said 2 in that one game to touchdown against Vanderbilt. So again, here's a kid with the talent. Certainly the Buffalo Bills. They don't need
I kind of see a little Josh Norman in him, and Maxwell Harrison.
He's playing all coverage position with the quarterback. He talked about how Buffalo was to play with the safeties high and the cornerbacks off, keeping the ball in front of with the cornerbacks.
Makes sense that Buffalo got him because head coach Josh McDermott coached Josh Norman.
Yeah, that's how he needs to play it right there. He needs to play off, hit shoulders, play everything top down, play with good news. You saw that number 7 who he ran down from Texas. That's Isaiah Bond now. And he ran him down and made that play on that big post.
Nick Omenwariye and Mike Green are still available. Is Mike Green going to fall to Philly? Is that who Philadelphia is picking?
And that's again, that's what you're looking for here late in the first round.
I see him making his way over to Molly McGrath for Horizon Business. Brings us down to the stage where Molly has Max Hairston. Molly?
Max, you told me that you were going to practice that handshake with Roger Goodell in the mirror. How do you think you did?
I think I did good. They almost lifted me up on the hub, but I think I did good. I've been waiting all night for that one.
I absolutely love your energy. You are known as a high character leader at Kentucky. What is Buffalo getting in you?
Man, Buffalo, they're getting the ultimate competitor, the ultimate teammate, and they're getting somebody else to give Josh Allen the ball back. Let's get the word!
All right, congratulations. Before we go, let's see the inside of that jacket.
Yeah.
And so Max Hairston is headed to Buffalo. I'll tell you what, the NFL draft makes for a strange bet, fellas. Kansas City and Philadelphia met in the Super Bowl just a few months ago. Now they swapped picks here. The Eagles have moved up to 31, trading up with Kansas City. We'll get the details on the trade in just a moment. The Super Bowl champs are on the clock, and we're getting ready to finish up round 1 from Green Bay. We're back in a moment on ESPN.
The last 5 picks, the New York Giants selected Jackson Dart. They traded back up into the first round and selected Dart. Atlanta traded back into the first round and traded away 2026 first round pick to get James Pierce. The Baltimore Ravens drafted Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. The Lions drafted Tariq Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State. The Washington Commanders selected Josh Conley Jr., offensive tackle out of Oregon. Buffalo Bills just selected Maxwell Harrison, cornerback out of Kentucky. Ran the fastest 40 at the combine. And right now, the Philadelphia Eagles traded up 1 pick, and no pick is in. I'm thinking they're going after Mike Green or Omenwariye. Does he have a gut instinct? I'm thinking they're going after one of those guys. Because they did lose Josh Sweat. So they lost Josh Sweat. I'm thinking they go after Mike Green to replace him. I mean, or they can go Will Johnson because they no longer have Darius Slay. Or Omenwariye because they don't have Gardner Johnson. I think it's going to be Amroy, Mike Green, or Will Johnson.
Two picks between the two teams are just met in the Super Bowl. We'll see Philadelphia giving up a fifth rounder this year to move up one spot. We'll see what it is they choose to do very quickly. We know, again, we've had the two quarterbacks selected tonight. It seemed almost impossible to imagine that we'll see another. So that will be tomorrow's storyline. As for the Eagles pick, here comes the commission.
The Kansas City Chiefs have traded the 31st pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 31st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select
Jahad Campbell. The going linebacker.
His choice to Alabama, where he led the Tide in tackles last year, including 11.5 for loss and 5 sacks. 21 on the big board, but he would have been going a lot higher. And I think the shoulder injury, he played great all year for Alabama.
Pairing him with Zach Bond.
5 of those were sacks. They let this football team away. Hall of Fame GM Howie Roseman has constructed it. They have to start. They have to play to it. They have to see. He's like the Rubenet pieces.
And now the Chiefs are on the clock. That'd be a good 1-2 punch. Zach Bond with Campbell.
Sideline to sideline, he can play 3-4 outside backer. If you need him to, because like he's doing right here, although this is just a 4-man front, he's just rushing in their sub package. But he's got nice eyesight, stiff and bend and going to the quarterback. You can see why on some of the tape where he was playing off ball, right? And he's coming downhill, he's taking on line. You can see the shoulders that he didn't have that same top and be able to get off and get people off of him. But you figure this, if he's healthy, both of those, those shoulders are straight. This is a hell of an athlete. He just looks great. He's got a height too. They go over there to the football team, and they can wait on. This is one organization, one football team can wait on John. They got to get healthy. They're not going to rush it. They drafted Cooper this year. They stole the second round. Why? Because he was coming off an injury. They waited it out, and he was an impactful all year. It was a Giants Super Bowl, right? Yeah. So again, Howie Roseman, I'd say Hall of Fame without question. Yeah. I mean, nobody knows about it. Because of Jahad Campbell, like I said, I had the 21, and not been for the injury, would have been right around 12 to 15. And like I said,
The Eagles know how to draft well.
Exactly. So that's he's always completely healthy. Shoulders 100% before you get it back to the field, and they can wait it out. You mentioned Howie Roseman. That was the Eagles' NFL high 11th trade involving the first-round pick since he took over in December of 2015, and he is standing by now. And when I say he, Jahad Campbell is standing by with Molly. Verizon Business takes us down to the stage. Molly.
Jahad, the defending Super Bowl champs just traded up for you. How will you repay their belief in you?
I'm gonna give them 110% everything I got in them. The Richard just got rich.
You told me that this week felt like an out-of-body experience. What is it like standing up here as the newest member of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Best team in the nation. I mean, what can I say? E-A-G-L-E-S. There we go.
Free.
Thank you. Molly, he already knows it's a great moment. And a young man suffered those injuries, thought he might have to wait until tomorrow night. And here's his name called. Again, in a trade with Kansas City. Sheffy, what can you tell us?
Well, the Eagles tried trading up earlier in the draft to go get Jihad Campbell, and the trade fell through, but they were able to persevere and trade up one spot. A lot of people might ask, why would you trade up one spot? Well, I think it's to block another team from potentially coming up, especially when it only costs you a fifth-round draft pick.
That's not bad.
20 picks in the next 2 rounds to use as ammunition. And now they get a player who, as Mel mentioned, could have gone from 12 to 15. He did have surgery on one of his shoulders. He's going to need surgery on another shoulder potentially after the season. He's got a knee issue as well, but the talent is undeniable.
That's a lot of injuries.
Feels a little bit like a steal, and that feels a little bit like why, as you mentioned, Harley Orsi and I'm is a legend of the profession. And so you see there's Kansas City, there's their legendary coach, Andy Reid, as they will make the final pick of this first round. They're accustomed to doing that. They've won a bunch of Super Bowls in recent seasons. Now what does this team need? I look at a kid who don't have injuries, right? Jihad Campbell, I got Josh Simmons at Ohio State. Left tackle.
They do need offensive line
He
help.
had the knee injury October 12th against Oregon. Could have been a top 5 to 10 pick. Left tackle for Patrick White. If I'm a kid like you, I can wait for Josh Simmons. He's ready for camp, ready to start. Great. If we have to wait a couple more weeks or a month and a half, fine.
If you look at okay, I'll finish it up there.
Hey, here's the thing I said about the Chiefs. The only time Mahomes has lost the Super Bowl is when he went to Texas. You got to make sure the kid's protected. This has to be some form of protection for him.
No, I was just going to say, this feedback off of Josh Simmons. When he was healthy, the end of last year, in the first quarter of this season, he's the best tackle in the draft. There's nothing he can't do. He just can't.
This has to be an offensive lineman.
Here's the commissioner who announced the final pick of round 1 of this year's draft in Green Bay.
With the 32nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Josh
Yep,
Simmons.
Josh Simmons.
The saw it coming now. He's from San Diego. Began his career at San Diego State. Started every game at right tackle.
They needed a tackle desperately.
Played the left tackle. Started every game at 23, and then this year the injury.
Almost 6'5", 317 pounds.
He was a penalty-prone offensive tackle, both at right tackle and left tackle. San Diego State, then Ohio State, right? His first year there with the Buckeyes. This year, he was off to the races. He missed 9 games where he put up against some really good heads. Like, was still solidified. His pick is a top 5 pick. So he missed those
Buried him in the dirt.
The guys, when he was playing out there until mid-October, he was outstanding.
Last year, week 13 against Michigan, I mean, flex, bend, punch, redirect, anchor, full reach, and cut off. He can do just about anything you wanted to do.
He can play left tackle and right tackle.
You were nitpicking to find something negative to say about his play. If he is healthy, and they have one of the best players in the NFL, Rick Burkholder, down there in Kansas City, he will be a bookend tackle. This guy's tape, there's no question. He has to be healthy.
Here's the thing I'll add. I've had that in. It takes about a year before you feel like that you're back. I'm from Monticello, right? And so I know he's squatting and he's ahead of schedule. It's going to be about a year before he feels like normal again. And if they're willing to wait, to your point, they'll get the best of him.
He's a really good tackle prospect, though.
They have tried hard to address the offensive line down there, and they've had some success, and they've had some misses. This guy is one of the best they brought in. There's no doubt that you cannot.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best remaining tackles in this class.
So that is it for round 1. There doesn't seem to be any question what the storyline is going to be going into round 2 tomorrow. Shador Sanders went undrafted tonight. That is a surprise, if not a shock.
3% chance that Shador Sanders would be in the second round.
He would be here, available for Friday night, tomorrow night, for rounds 2 and 3. It has been a privilege to bring this evening to you on behalf of our entire crew here in Green Bay. I'm Mike Greenberg saying, say good night. Thank you so much for being with us. Sports Center picks it up, takes the ball and runs with it now. Scott Van Pelt is ready to go. Scott, take it away.
Brady, thank you very much. Salute to all the hard-working men and women up there in Green Bay.
Okay, that's the end of the first night of the NFL draft. Going back over the last 32 picks. The Tennessee Titans selected Cam Ward, QB out of Miami. The Jacksonville Jaguars traded up from 5 to 2 with the Cleveland Browns to get Travis Hunter, cornerback, and wide receiver. And Jacksonville traded a second-round pick, first-round pick for next year, and a handful of other picks. The New York Giants selected Abdul Carter out of Penn State. New England Patriots selected Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU. The Browns, who traded back from 2 to 5, selected Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan. The Las Vegas Raiders selected Ashton Genty, running back out of Boise State. They needed a running back. They went out and got the best running back available. The New York Jets selected Amon Membu, offensive tackle out of Missouri. The Carolina Panthers selected Ted McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona. We now have a 6'4" wide receiver to pair with Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, and Jalen Coker. We have our own version of a Mike Evans. The Saints, with the 9th overall pick, got Calvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle out of Texas, to replace the retired Ryan Ramczyk. Chicago selected Colston Loveland with the 10th overall pick, tight end out of Michigan. The San Francisco 49ers selected Michael Williams, edge out of Georgia. Dallas selected Tyler Booker, guard out of Alabama, to replace Zach Martin, who retired. Kenneth Grant went to Miami, defensive tackle out of Michigan. The Indianapolis Colts select Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State, give Anthony Richardson a security blanket. With the 15th pick, the Atlanta Falcons selected Jalen Walker, edge out of Georgia. They needed edge rusher help. They got it out of Walker. Arizona, with the 16th pick, got Watson Nolan, defensive tackle out of Mississippi. The Cincinnati Bengals, for the 17th pick, got Shamir Stewart, edge out of Texas A&M. With the 18th pick, the Seattle Seahawks got Gray Zabel. I probably butchered his last name. Guard out of North Dakota State. They needed offensive line help to protect Sam Darnold. With the 19th pick, Tampa Bay selected Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. They now have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan from last year's draft, and Emeka Egbuka. Maybe Chris Godwin isn't as healthy as they thought. Maybe he's going to miss part of the beginning of the season, and Emeka Egbuka will replace him until Chris Godwin gets healthy and comes back. Pick 20, the Denver Broncos selected Jadon Barron, cornerback out of Texas. Will Johnson has not been picked yet. He's still available on day 2. The Pittsburgh Steelers selected Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon. They did not pick a QB in the first round. The Los Angeles Chargers selected Amani Hampton, running back out of North Carolina, pairing him with Najee Harris. The Green Bay Packers selected Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. The first time Green Bay has picked a wide receiver in the first round since 2002. The Minnesota Vikings selected Donovan Jackson, guard out of Ohio State. Got to protect J.J. McCarthy. At the 25th pick, the Giants traded back into the first round and drafted Jackson Dart, quarterback out of Mississippi. They got Abdul Carter with pick 3. They traded back into the first round and picked the QB that they liked going into the draft. The Atlanta Falcons traded back into the first round and got James Pierce Jr., edge out of Tennessee. With their first round pick, they got edge Jalen Walker. So they got 2 edge rushers, and Atlanta needed edge rush help. That whole NFC South division needs edge rusher help and defense help. The Baltimore Ravens with pick 27 selected Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. The Lions with the 28th pick got Tyreek Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. My Washington Commanders with the 29th pick got Josh Conley Jr., offensive tackle out of Oregon. He's probably going to be playing right tackle. With the 30th pick, the Buffalo Bills selected Maxwell Harrison, the fastest cornerback in the combine, out of Kentucky. With the 31st pick, the Eagles and the Chiefs swapped picks, and the Eagles gave up a 5th-round pick in this year's draft to move up 1 spot, and they drafted Jaheed Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama. And with the 32nd pick, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Josh Simmons, the best remaining offensive tackle. They needed offensive line help. Got to protect Mahomes. And he was the best remaining offensive lineman. Well, that's it for the NFL Draft Night 1. I will be back for Day 2. I think Day 2 starts at 7 p.m. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And that's the end of the first night of the draft.